In what world does slandering the creator who exposed you for being a manipulative creep ever turn out well? From bentellect's perspective, calling Charlie, aka Moist Critikal, a liar and a creep was the quickest way to repair his reputation.
I would argue that Charlie reading strangers' private text messages makes him and his followers more of a creep than me texting a girl. But there's an idiot born every second, and a lot of them are following Moist Critikal.
Sadly, Ben was just digging himself into a bigger hole as his petty, vengeful, and litigious past was about to destroy his reputation a second time. We've covered Ben once before on the channel, but here's a brief summary of the controversy surrounding his career and his encounter with Charlie. Over the years, Ben has built up a vast social media following across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by reacting to other people's memes. While he received criticism for making low-effort content and copyright striking other people's videos about him, Ben was still well liked by his fans. Unfortunately, that all changed in July of 2023, when the creator Jordan Max shared a series of damning messages that revealed how Ben was leveraging his platform to try and hook up with OF models. According to Jordan and the screenshots provided, they had a podcast collaboration planned, but Ben decided to call it off mere hours before shooting because she refused to film OF content with him, with texts reading, "I was just thinking you're helping me with doing a video for my YouTube, so maybe I could help you with your OF. Hey, gonna do the pickle video with someone else. Thanks though." Within days, several other women came out with similar stories of Ben turning aggressive and petty when they rejected him. In a bid to mitigate the damage to his reputation, Ben threatened to sue Jordan for simply publishing the screenshots. However, his desperation to hide the situation only made the claims against him even more credible. When viewers confronted Ben with evidence, he didn't deny it and tried to downplay the controversy by saying, quote, "People are upset over PG text messages." To see such a popular creator take advantage of that popularity to manipulate people into sleeping with him naturally revolted his audience. Once the backlash became too severe to ignore, Ben released this half-hearted apology to hopefully save his reputation.
Just wanted to clear the air. The first thing I want to say is I'm sorry to anyone that I've made feel uncomfortable. I want to say to any girl who I've been rude to, whether through text or in person, that I'm sorry. I understand that me being sorry does not excuse that kind of behavior. I will continue to work on myself and do better. Thanks, guys.
To anyone watching, Ben wasn't making this apology because he felt sorry, but because he wanted to maintain his career. When that didn't work, Ben deleted all traces of the apology from his social media. Unfortunately, that didn't stop the news of his misconduct from spreading like wildfire across the internet, as creators like Penguinz0 wasted no time in roasting him for such dubious behavior.
So, did he stand by every single word that he said? Let's look at his initial apology, which he deleted pretty shortly after posting it, and then also hid replies on. Let's look at his first apology. "I've recently been accused of some heinous actions and would like the opportunity to share my disgust at these accusations. I'm a firm believer in the rights and equality of all humans, including women." If that's not the biggest red flag immediately, I don't know what else is. "I stand by the rights for all humans," and that does include women. Those creatures. I am including them in that statement because that's the kind of angel I am. It makes it sound like he's drawing a distinction between women and every other human on the planet, like they're a totally separate species.
Knowing Ben's litigious tendencies, Charlie clarified that any attempt to sue him or copyright strike the video would be met with an immediate and swift legal response.
Also, Ben, I know you're still watching. You probably plan on suing me if I show your apology video because you've employed this tactic before against other YouTubers. If they've shown clips of your content to make fun of you, you allege that it's stealing your work and you have a legal ground to take it down and come after them. You don't. That's not how that works. Me showing this is not any kind of violation in any way, shape, or form. So if you do try and sue me or copyright claim this video, copyright strike the video, anything like that, I will 100% respond with every single option at my disposal in order to follow this legal case through to its fullest conclusion.
From the end of 2023 until mid-2024, the controversy Ben desperately wanted to hide almost completely became public knowledge. As a result of his own dishonesty, Ben had lost the goodwill of his fanbase, which completely wrecked all of his social media growth. If Ben had only taken accountability for what he did and made a proper apology, he could have avoided this outcome. Unfortunately, Ben isn't the type of person to acknowledge his mistakes. Instead, he tries to twist the narrative after the dust has settled. On the 8th of September 2024, Ben would upload a video titled "Commentary Channels Love to Lie," in which he tried to minimize his horrible behavior by making the people reporting it look like clout chasers. Starting with the false copyright strike he made against Nick is Not Green, Ben tried to justify it by claiming he didn't know the difference between claiming and striking someone, and considered it a normal procedure when others use your content.
That Ben had copyright struck the previous video he'd made on him.
Not just copyright claim, but copyright strike.
This did happen. This was in 2021. I just point blank thought when someone used your videos, you put in a copyright claim. I didn't know there was a difference at the time between strike or claim or whatever.
The way Ben presented things made it seem like a careless mistake, but that becomes very hard to believe when you look deeper into the situation. Anyone using the YouTube copyright system would be more than aware of the serious consequences associated with filing a copyright strike, especially a creator with over 1 million subscribers. How could he have gone through the entire filing process and not even understood what he was filing? Either Ben 1. ignored the critical information from YouTube about the copyright system while filing the strike and didn't bother to do any research on it, or 2. was aware of the consequences and filed it anyway. Whichever one it was, Ben was clearly at fault for misusing the copyright system. If you apply Ben's logic to his own content, then almost all of his videos would be liable for a copyright takedown because he uses other people's content in their entirety. Ben downplaying his copyright abuse wasn't the only manipulative tactic Ben used to obscure his mistakes, as he tried to make his disgusting messages to Jordan Max seem like a drunken mishap.
So this girl DM'd me a year prior on Instagram, basically wanted to go grab a drink. Never ended up happening. A year later, I was starting a podcast, got drunk the day before she was gonna come over, and I texted her this. So, yep, this is a drunk text at noon. I was blackout drunk. It was just dumb. It was just stupid.
Looking back at Jordan's tweet, all she really did was state exactly what had been done and provided proof of said actions. When he recounted these events, Ben lied about the timeline by stating that the texts took place a day prior, when it was mere hours before their meetup. Not only that, but he also left out how the reason he cancelled their collaboration was because she refused to sleep with him. Ben is clearly twisting the facts to make himself look better, and when the evidence was too damning to deny, he resorted to call it a lie without any proof.
And with me,
This whole convo, I don't care what anyone says about it, this right here, I don't know who put it out, fake. Oh my god, I've dealt with bentellect too, actually he's bothered a lot of women. Where's the name? This is just a text message, and people take it as like a story. It's not a story. Let me just say this, the story is that I started a podcast to leverage my fame to sleep with women. False. And any other person who tells you otherwise is lying. For fame, for views, or whatever reason. I got drunk at noon and texted a girl who had DM'd me a year before and asked her if she wanted to hook up. That's not that crazy.
Despite asserting that these messages were fake, Ben did acknowledge his connection to one of the women listed, but stated it wasn't the public's business since it was a private conversation.
This girl and her and I met on a dating app in 2017, hung out once, and then I think hung out 5 times over the course of like 3 years. Never dated. Only hung out when we drank. This text message combo was a private text message between me and her. I was drunk and texting her, yep. There's nothing in this text message that is any of the public's business. If you read someone's private text messages as content, you're a clown, straight up.
Private messages or not, Ben had a pattern of getting aggressive towards and insulting women who didn't give him what he wanted. The excuses of being intoxicated doesn't change the reality of what he did, and viewers were more than ready to echo that sentiment in the comment section below. Reading, "You realize being drunk in that moment makes it so much worse," and "funny how you was drunk every time you texted them." Throughout the video, So Ben couldn't admit to his mistakes and tried to make it seem like the coverage of his behind-the-scenes behavior was just people hating on him. As long as he could paint the people calling him out in a bad light, Ben felt like he was in the right, and was even comfortable enough with that reasoning to take things a step further by calling his critics clowns.
This is fake. This is fake. This is fake. This is fake. And this is fake. So if you've seen this video, it's BS and he's a clown. If you've seen this video, it's BS and he's a clown. And if you've seen this video, it's BS and he's a clown. Hope this helps.
As you'd imagine, viewers were very quick to point out Ben's extremely weak rebuttal to the criticism, with a comment stating, "Your argument is just saying they're wrong? You're so bad at this, you don't even have evidence that they are actually wrong. Someone didn't go to Lapse in Judgment 101, I see." This wouldn't be the last time Ben tried to slander his critics to save his skin, as he doubled down on this sick strategy going into 2025. However, it would cause him more harm than good. By the 16th of March 2025, Ben uploaded a video to TikTok captioned, "This guy is a creep," in which he framed Charlie's coverage of him as baseless slander.
Today I want to talk about someone. His name is Charles Wyatt. He made a video slandering me over a year ago, but the damage it caused still affects me, my career, and my mental health to this day, which is why I'm making this video. He made up a story reading fake screenshots from Twitter that I started a fake podcast to get fans specifically to come and hook up.
Bentellect uses this podcast as a way of just, like, the whole podcast existence is only here as a way of trying to get Bentellect laid.
I later put out a video explaining that Jordan Max had put out fake screenshots and debunked the theory because that came from me actually starting a podcast with Maria Smith, a friend of mine. I literally put out an apology video because I was sick and tired of the endless harassment. I wouldn't be respecting myself if I didn't speak my truth.
Following this, Ben complains about the damage it did to him on YouTube and even threatens legal action against Charlie.
There's a lot of people who unfollowed me because of Penguinz video. Let me give you an example. This video did millions of plays on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, but the same video only did 13,000 plays on YouTube, even though I have 3 million subscribers. A lot of fans have recommended that I sue Charlie. Other commentary channels even make videos detailing the damage. I would argue that Charlie reading strangers' private text messages makes him and his followers more of a creep than me texting a girl. But there's an idiot born every second, and a lot of them are following Moist Critikal.
At this point, anyone who knew the truth about the situation called him out in the comments, but Ben was desperate to keep his facade intact, with a commenter stating, "You can try your hardest to deny the truth, but you know what you did. Charlie exposed you, and you continue to hide behind this lie you've crafted. Own up to it." Where Bentellect responded by stating, "That's cute, show me the names and faces to match the screenshots. You can't. Case closed." This wasn't the first time Ben had retroactively slandered people who criticized him, as he tried to label Billie Eilish as a bully for making a parody of his content.
Over the years, Billie Eilish talks about cyberbullying and how it has negatively affected her life, to the point that she says that in 2018, she almost took her own life because of reading negative social media posts about her online. Well, 2 years later, Billie Eilish posted this video to her 50 million subscribers. I use Instagram. Scroll. F is this. Unfollow. Scroll. Facts. Screenshot. Yes.
Facts.
From Ben's perspective, Billie intentionally tried to make her fans hate him and felt that she had no justification to talk about people hating her.
For years, she gave a speech about cyberbullying and how against it she was, mainly from the hate comments she received from this photo. She says time and time again, those comments still hurt her feelings, even years later. She says she stopped reading comments, and she wants to dress the way she wants to dress without being judged, but posted this video knowing that it was making fun of me to her millions of followers, and in turn would cause her followers to come and hate on me, which happened for many years.
Ben takes it very personally when people laugh at him and assumes that making a parody of someone constitutes harassment. All Billy did was demonstrate precisely what Ben was doing under all of the memes on his page, yet he interprets that as an attack and tries to convince the audience of the same thing. Fortunately, many of them were willing to take a more objective approach to the situation, with comments stating, "I think she was just demonstrating what it looks like to scroll and laugh. I don't think she was hating," as well as, "I'm not really a Billy fan, but I don't think she was trying to be mean to you." Going back to his YouTube channel, Ben has made several community posts wrapping the narrative around his bad reputation and history to make it seem like people were hating him for no reason. And people were initially on Ben's side because they didn't know the allegations against him. But the table shifted when more users began noticing his posts, with one commenter even stating, "You don't have the time, huh? Then why you post this then? Put the fries in the bag, buddy." Even now, the misconduct Ben was trying to obscure was still costing him subscribers. As one user stated, "Just saw the allegations about the OF podcast, just unsubscribed. Didn't want to watch someone who is doing supposed shady stuff. I'm not saying you did this, I just don't want to follow someone who can't be honest or trusted." Seeing the writing on the wall, Ben understood that the YouTube community isn't going to give him a second chance, and uploaded this salty community post. "Stay in school, kids, you'll never be a YouTuber." Looking at Ben's recent YouTube metrics, the pattern only becomes more apparent, as his slander campaign against Charlie and his other critics has cost him over 10,000 subscribers. The more Ben tries to cover up his past, the more people find out about it. What's even more concerning is how this effect would be multiplied if he continues to go after the people that exposed him. Whether Ben realized it or not, trying to expose Charlie wasn't going to make people forgive or forget how he abused his platform. Even if Ben were to sue Charlie or get a response from him, the outcome wouldn't be in his favor. As one commenter put it, "My guy, it's over. Just take the L." If by some chance he even sees this video, he knows how desperately you would love a back and forth. He knows that you would even accept playing the deserved role as the villain as long as you got views again. You honestly think he has even thought about you for over a minute in the past 6 months? He's not gonna engage. If you got slandered, sue him. If you were a creep, don't. Either way, your relevance is done. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated a pattern of being petty and vindictive when faced with criticism. This happened with Nick is Not Green, and now it's happening with Moist Critikal. The only difference this time is that most people don't know or remember how he lost his reputation the first time. But if he continues and starts a beef with Charlie, it's definitely going to remind them. But that was far from the only time someone learned that picking a fight with Charlie can backfire instantly. Penguinz0, aka Charlie's conflict with the controversial YouTuber SSSniperwolf, will go down as one of the most turbulent controversies in YouTube history, with Charlie publishing over 5 videos critiquing and exposing her for a wide range of things, from stealing content and her personality, all the way to engaging inappropriately with minors. On the 15th of October 2023, Charlie would upload a video titled SSSniperwolf Situation is Crazy. Throughout the video, he would call out SSSniperwolf, also known as Leah, for doxing Jack's films over online drama.
Allegedly, Sniperwolf has just doxed Jack's films. In an Instagram post, she posted this. Apparently, she even posted one of his house. It's just an extremely degenerate, up response to this whole situation from Sniperwolf here.
Charlie would go on to call Sniperwolf malicious and weird, stating,
"Going up to his house like she's about to, sell solar panels to him or something and ambush him with this conversation about this feud they have is not normal or acceptable. It's just like a malicious, weird thing to do."
The video would attract huge attention from the online community, garnering over 9.4 million views and fostering a comment section that strongly stood against Sniperwolf's actions, with comments reading, "If Jack did this to her, YouTube would erase every evidence of his existence off the platform, lock him up, and throw away the key. Meet a kid dying with cancer? No. Be a creep and dox a YouTuber? Yes." As well as, "Driving 5 minutes to dox Jack's films is the most effort-filled thing she's done in years." Just 5 days later, on the 20th of October 2023, things would get a lot worse for Sniperwolf, as Charlie would post another video titled Sniperwolf Situation Just Got Worse. Throughout the video, Charlie would call out Sniperwolf for having suspicious content involving minors.
It's her encouraging some seemingly underage individuals to do some degenerate acts on video, and the way she encouraged them was almost like a wager you'd see out of a Bad Brothers film. She wagered her tits. It's like very f***ing odd, awful shit.
But if you think this was bad, things were about to get even worse, with Charlie finding an even more incriminating post.
She meets this girl who says that she's 16, and then agrees to show each other their... And the 16-year-old flashes the camera, which Sniperwolf does censor, but that doesn't make it okay. And then just say, hey, wait a minute, Buster, it's fine because it's censored. It's like, what the fuck? Really, it seems like she just had a minor flash the camera on a YouTube video.
Comments on the video would side with Charlie and wish for YouTube to take the situation more seriously, with comments reading, "They aren't gonna ban her, are they? It's incredibly stupid how they put the profit of one above the discomfort of so many. It's honestly impressive how much worse Sniperwolf continues to get. Armed robbery, disorderly conduct, ghosting a child with cancer, telling kids to and now doxing, and yet somehow she still manages to act like she's the victim. As well as, YouTube needs to take action. This is setting an unbelievably terrifying precedent for the future." The following day, Charlie would post another video on the situation titled "Sniperwolf Apology and YouTube Response." Charlie started off the video by critiquing YouTube's response to the situation, stating,
"So, it's been about a week, and YouTube has finally broken their silence on what they plan to do. Today they spat this drivel out, confirming Sniperwolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo to a better place." That is one of those things where you read it and it's like a flashbang hits you, like all your senses go out and you have to question if what you just read was real.
Charlie would then go on to state that Jack's Films didn't do anything wrong and that YouTube's response of taking both sides was completely unfair.
Again, what did Jack's Films do wrong? He is completely blameless here. There's no reason why they should be trying to make it sound like Jack's Films did something wrong. His only crime was being alive, which gave her the means to target him. If they're trying to say that the criticisms that he keeps tossing towards Sniperwolf is unwarranted, so the behavior is unacceptable, then that's even more delusional because there's nothing wrong with criticisms. This is one of those actions where it should have resulted in a harsh punishment.
Charlie would then go on to speculate that Sniperwolf and YouTube may have had some sort of agreement on the punishment behind the scenes. This was based on the timing of YouTube's response and Sniperwolf's apology, where he stated,
"The timing of her apology statement is also very interesting because it comes almost immediately after YouTube's post, so this leads me to believe that Sniperwolf and YouTube had some kind of handshake agreement where it'll be like a light punishment as long as she makes an apology on Twitter."
To end the video, Charlie would state that there are simply no defenses for her actions.
There's really nothing she can say here. What she's done is absolutely indefensible. Like, I don't think she feels remorse for it or anything. I think she still believes that what she did is okay. It's just YouTube made her do this.
The comments on the video would agree with Charlie's analysis, with comments reading, "She isn't sorry about what she did, she's just sorry that it backfired. My favorite part of her apology was when she typed his username incorrectly twice. Seems like a very sincere and meaningful apology." As well as, "She ain't apologizing because she's sorry, she's apologizing because she's losing money and her reputation. Not only that, but she isn't even properly apologizing. She and YouTube are acting like a primary school principal who punishes both the bully and the bullied, and expects both of them to apologize to one another. Jack's Films 100% needs to take legal action here. This is utter ridiculousness." Over the following month, Sniperwolf continued her content like usual, and it almost seemed like she got away with it. However, on the 12th of November 2023, Charlie would publish yet another video. In a video titled "New Sniperwolf Drama," Charlie revealed that Sniperwolf was not only stealing her content, but also allegedly stealing her own voice and personality from another female creator. For context, on the 10th of November 2023, Nerd City would publish a video titled "Sniperwolf Stole Her Life." The video would go in depth and reveal several occasions that Sniperwolf not only stole video ideas, but even accents and personalities from fellow YouTuber Azzyland, while simultaneously trying to bully her.
At the very beginning, it actually started off with just like a few mean tweets, which kind of painted us as like enemies. It turned into taking every idea did well, but because they had more following than me, their video would just get more views, and so people would see their video first and then assume that their video was first.
Moving back to Charlie's video, he would analyze the situation and give commentary on Nerd City's video. Charlie would take the side of Azzyland and criticize Sniperwolf for the difference in response time in comparison to the Jax film situation.
Interestingly enough, and I hope you're sitting down, because if you're standing up, it's gonna knock you over, she's already responded to these claims, which is like 10 times faster than she responded to the Jax Films doxing situation. Compromising an entire family's safety, nothing. But this, being accused of copying Tik Tok reacts, oh, it's go time. Now she's on the front lines ready for war in the trenches.
Following this, Charlie would go over Sniperwolf's response to the situation, where Sniperwolf would claim Azzy was the one copying her thumbnails by changing them retrospectively in order to frame the whole situation against her. However, despite this, Charlie finished off the video by concluding that Sniperwolf possibly did indeed copy Azzyland's content.
At the end of the day, it's Tik Tok reacts. It's like the simplest thing ever. There's probably like 10 other YouTubers that have this exact same format and style that may have even preceded them. And based on everything in the Nerd City video, as well as a couple of other things that have been revealed, it really does seem like Sniperwolf directly tried to copy from Azzyland in quite a few aspects, even outside of just like thumbnails and all of that.
On the 15th of November 2023, I would publish a video on the situation titled "The Sniperwolf Situation Gets Worse," where I not only documented her alleged theft, but also her criminal past. SSSniperwolf, aka Leah, is a YouTuber who gained notoriety for stealing content and re-uploading it to her 34 million sub YouTube channel with minimal commentary. She was arrested and charged 2 separate times for cases of armed robbery and disorderly conduct, which she tries to hide from the public. Following this video, I thought the controversy had finally come to an end. However, I would be massively wrong. Fast forward to the 29th of June 2024, and the controversy surrounding Sniperwolf would once again come to the surface, when YouTuber One Giant Onion published a YouTube video titled "My YouTube Channel Might Get Banned." The video would address a strike he received on his YouTube channel for a video where he spent 3 hours reacting to Sniperwolf's content. The video in question was titled something along the lines of "Reacting to Sniperwolf until I laugh," with the whole point of the video being that he never laughed. He started the video by telling his story of how he found out about the strike.
Today I logged onto my YouTube account to change the thumbnail of one of my videos, and I was met with something very shocking. I actually have received a strike on my channel. Now at first I was really confused because I haven't done anything wrong. Honestly, when I first received this news, I thought maybe I got struck for one of my older, edgier videos, but upon further inspection, it turns out that I actually received a copyright strike from Sniperwolf. She took down one of my videos called "Watching Sniperwolf Until I Laugh."
Despite his video likely not being fair use, the hypocrisy of Sniperwolf claiming someone else's video just seemed far too ridiculous for viewers to comprehend, seeing as though Sniperwolf has built her entire career off stealing other people's content and not giving any credits. He would end the video by asking his audience to get the attention of larger creators who could possibly help him, which he'd be extremely successful in doing so. A week later, on the 8th of July 2024, Charlie would finally take notice of the situation, where he would post a video titled "Sniperwolf striking a channel is crazy." During the video, Charlie would critique Sniperwolf for allegedly striking his video, despite her not even owning her own content.
Her content would not fit under a transformative argument under any circumstances, because usually she just plays the entire TikTok that she's reacting to with no input, and then maybe afterwards says, "Geez, zoinks!" Can you believe that? And then she has the chutzpah to strike One Giant Onion for reacting to her content. It's craziness.
Charlie would end the video by calling her a hypocrite, stating,
"Yes, reacting to 3 hours worth of her content was probably not the best idea, but it should have never resulted in a strike to his channel, because she is literally doing what he does, but broken up over the course of years and like 6 videos a week doing it, as opposed to 1 3-hour video on content she doesn't even own, thus shouldn't even have the right to copyright strike." on behalf of. It's so fucking hypocritical.
Despite the situation seeming relatively clear-cut and Snipewolf seeming like an obvious villain, a response on her Twitter would change everything. When she posted a tweet reading, "I want to clarify that I did not strike anyone's video. I do not have any pending takedown notices. I believe someone else must have done it on my behalf," at Moist Critikal, where Charlie would respond in a quote tweet stating, "If that's true, you should contact the striked channel and get the info of the person who did strike it so you can take legal action against them. There's a huge problem with this dogshit on the platform right now, so it'd be great to put a stop to it." With Snipewolf's long and controversial history on YouTube, almost no one would believe her side of the story, but despite this, Charlie would receive a mixed reaction to his tweet, with most people being on the Snipewolf hate train, accepting what she did without any evidence, and some others such as Nikocado who criticized his response to allegedly spreading misinformation. With a tweet reading, Charlie posted a weird reply to her when Snipewolf claimed she didn't file the strike. Quote, "Well, you should be more proactive," unquote, isn't a good response to being told you've spread misinformation, though I understand the lack of charitability. However, Snipewolf would reply with screenshots showing her pending strikes, revealing that she hadn't struck down Onion's video, but seemingly 10 other videos in the past few years which may or may not have been fair use. This is where things start to get a bit strange. Since I was closely following the situation, I reached out to Onion to help him resolve it. When I asked him for more proof of the claim, he seemed hesitant, but once he sent it, I noticed a huge red flag. The email listed on the strike was a random personal Gmail address that had no ties to Snipewolf or any agency at all. This made me confident it wasn't her, and also made me wonder why he kept this piece of information out from all his posts about the situation. Following the back and forth on Twitter, on the 9th of July 2024, Charlie would publish a video correcting the story, titled, "Snipewolf did not strike a channel." Throughout the video, Charlie would clarify the situation and correct what he got wrong in his previous upload.
From all of the evidence I've seen now, it actually wasn't Sniperwolf who filed that strike, and it's a very complicated mess that highlights a very, very rare problem on YouTube that I very much would like to talk about.
He would go on to explain how he also went to One Giant Onion to get information relating to the strike, where he also found the email suspicious.
I reached out to One Giant Onion to just send me all of the info about the strike. The copyright strike was filed by an individual who claims to be representing a collaborative agency that works with Sniperwolf. However, what's definitely not a core part of their strategy is having the agents that are filing these takedown requests and strikes use a fucking personal Gmail account. So that's where things immediately became very clear to me that this is probably straight up horseradish.
Later in the video, Charlie would also state that he reached out to Snipewolf, where she confirmed that she doesn't work with the agency and that they've actually targeted her channel as well.
So this definitely seems like someone pretending to work at that agency and then filing this strike. But I reached out directly to Sniperwolf just to 100% confirm whether or not she's associated with this group. She confirms she does not work with them at all, and even goes as far as to mention that this group has targeted her channel in the past as well.
Charlie would close off the video by doing something no one could have ever expected. He apologized to Sniperwolf.
So apologies to Sniperwolf. I'm sorry for the big headache that this must have caused when she didn't do it. She wasn't the one that issued the strike.
While Snipewolf is by no means a moral or ethical creator given her extensive and controversial past, it does seem like she wasn't in the wrong in this situation. And due to her past malicious activities and information being censored by Onion, the YouTube community was more excited to jump on her hate bandwagon again, rather than looking for any real proof regarding the situation. With a tweet thread from Nikocado stating, "Nuclear take. People are blindly painting One Giant Onion as a victim because Snipewolf is involved. Here's 5 minutes of him freebooting Logan Paul in a video similar to the one that Snipewolf allegedly struck. After Leah publicly denied filing the strike, the Onion Man finally posted the screenshot, and it clearly says Snipewolf collab company issued the strike. Now, that casts doubt on whether this was even done by her at all. Leah also posted her DMCA history to show it wasn't done. Charlie just posted a video, Snipewolf did not strike a channel, after One Giant Onion finally sent the email associated with Snipewolf's DMCA and showed the strike was linked to a random person's Gmail. It's starting to look like Leah was telling the truth. So basically, it's looking like Snipewolf got totally fucked smeared, and the conversation has pivoted away from big bad copyright abuser to wow, this is terrible, YouTube needs to do something about DMCA abuse. Sniperwolf is now asking why she was never contacted. The kid admitted it wasn't her and said he rushed to post the video. This is f***ing crazy. In his original video 9 days ago, One Giant Onion redacted what video was claimed and who claimed it, despite calling out Sniperwolf in the video. I'm going to be honest, I think he f***ing knew. Nicholas DiOrio makes some really solid points. The theory that One Giant Onion knew the whole time and did this for attention becomes even more legitimate when you look deeper into his channel. At the end of the day, this controversy didn't just shine a light on YouTube's horrible copyright system, but it also perfectly explained how easy it is for false information to be spread throughout the YouTube commentary community, especially when the creator isn't well liked to begin with. It's almost less about what people do and more about how much people dislike them. With that being said, it's also important to remember the original things Penguinz0 was exposing Sniperwolf for, things that are arguably a lot worse than a copyright claim. And despite her flourishing YouTube channel, her reputation will never be the same. And once enough creators started trying to frame Charlie as the problem, the pattern became impossible to ignore. During his many years on YouTube, Penguinz0, aka Charlie, has crafted and maintained an extremely positive reputation for himself. But that doesn't mean there weren't a few controversies along the way. After all, controversial situations are on par for the course on YouTube. However, the main difference between Charlie and many other creators is that those who try to expose him often have the tables turned on them in the worst possible ways, sometimes even completely ruining their careers. On the 7th of February 2022, a well-known GTA speedrunner, Dark Viper AU, shared a 14-page document on Twitter that claimed reactors negatively impacted the online creator ecosystem. Reading, "All reactors are bad people. Collectively, they have stolen millions of dollars from actual creators and have stopped countless thousands from having a career." In the document, he referenced specific channels like XQC, Hassan, and Moist Critikal as an exploiter class that profited off the labor of other channels, and included several examples of how they draw impressions and views away from smaller creators. While Dark Viper made numerous solid arguments in his video, others would take issue with the aggressive way he conveyed some of his points, with replies reading, "I appreciate what you're saying, but insinuating that anybody who makes your definition of reaction content would actually assault someone if given the chance is quite a large leap in logic," to which Dark Viper replied stating, "People who live their lives exploiting others, their labor or careers in their own lust for money or power are the very sort of people who would abuse someone." It was clear that Dark Viper was deeply dissatisfied with the presence of reaction channels in the online world, and wanted others to see the negative impact he thought they had on smaller creators. However, one of the creators he directly referenced would make their own thoughts on the situation known. By the 9th of February 2022, Charlie would respond to Dark Viper's document with a video titled, "Are React Streamers Bad People?"
Streamer named Dark Viper AU posted a 14-page document all about how evil React content is. Basically, is comparing React content creators to rapists.
Charlie spent the majority of the video countering the document by bringing up Dark Viper's past as a reactor, pointing out that reactions didn't inherently steal impressions from other videos, and stating that they could even have a positive impact on a given channel.
However, off the top of my head, I can think of multiple examples in times where React content has genuinely helped smaller creators, like blow up their channel. My channel, I'm the perfect example of it. My channel literally got kickstarted because of Ray William Johnson reacting to my QWOP video in 2010. I can truly understand when somebody doesn't like when someone reacts to their content. I get it. It's not like I'm fucking delusional, I understand it.
However, Charlie also acknowledged the shortcomings in his own reaction videos and streams.
I understand the stigma around React content, and I've always understood it. When I react to something, I'm constantly trying to either pause it and add something to it or interject comedy into it. I treat React content like Mystery Science Theater. Now, of course, not every time is going to be a hit, which is why you'll find plenty of videos where I'm reacting to something like The Downfall of Quibi, which comes from a great channel that I really like to watch, and I just got too engrossed in their storytelling and the way they presented it that I didn't add anything to it. So I ended up just kind of watching it with my community.
From Charlie's perspective, the discussion around the impact of reaction content wasn't black and white, with several nuances that applied in different situations. Unfortunately, Dark Viper AU didn't want to see things that way, as his response video sparked a back and forth between the two creators. Dark Viper would claim that Charlie was misrepresenting his arguments, and that he did not add enough transparency transformative content in his reactions.
I don't know what he's responding to here, but I did write a 14-page script explaining why I don't like reactors and I think they're bad people. Whatever he's looking at here isn't that, because basically nothing of what he talks about in this video do I talk about in that script. Anyone who watched it would understand all the things that Charlie didn't understand when he might have read the script. I'm not 100% sure.
Even going as far to claim that Charlie was trying to use his large audience and reach to reframe the argument in his favor.
Moist Critikal knows that his video is going to reach far more people than will ever actually read that document. He also knows that my video, refuting him, will also reach one fraction of a percent of people who watch his video. This is the power that large content creators have to shape a narrative, regardless of how false.
While Dark Viper missed the mark when he claimed Charlie was intentionally weaponizing his large platform, he was correct about his points being misrepresented.
I took a bit of an L+ ratio here. There was a lot of things that I got wrong. But of course, I get things wrong. Everybody does. And I'm not afraid to admit it or die on a hill that is just outright incorrect. And Dark Viper points out things that I got wrong, for sure. Dark Viper is a creator that I liked and respected. What the fuck would I gain from misrepresenting him, someone that I actively like? It'd make no fucking sense.
In addition to acknowledging his mistakes when handling the situation, Charlie would make some alterations to the reaction content that he creates.
Which is why with this newfound understanding of this perspective, I will no longer be watching full YouTube videos on stream. I'd rather watch it, see if it's something I have anything to add to, and then turn it into perhaps a full video response, which is my normal content.
While there were many things they disagreed on, Charlie and Dark Viper would eventually settle the beef with a 2-hour-long debate, and later a private conversation that gave them the opportunity to see eye to eye on the issue, with Dark Viper clarifying that the document was about reactors doing bad things, not inherently being bad people. By the 25th of February 2022, the pair would bury the hatchet and collaborate on a GTA 5 guessing video.
Hello and welcome to another episode of GTA Guesser Versus with my special guest, Moist Critikal.
Hey, I'm hoping I don't embarrass myself too badly. I was practicing for the last hour and a half, so I'm at least feeling kinda confident.
However, the outcome of their discourse would cascade in 2023, as Charlie would announce a change in his content strategy that prioritizes creative fulfillment over ad revenue.
No matter what I say in this video here, there's tons of people that have already made their minds up about me and my motivations behind content. A lot of people believe that it's truly money driven, and an example they use is React content. Now, for a couple of years, I did React content. That content, React content, is the most lucrative, most low-effort content you can ever make. I stopped doing React streams and React content about a year ago now, but no matter what, I've always got the Orochimaru curse mark on my body where I'm labeled a React streamer.
Charlie also explained why he created React content in the first place.
Now, a lot of people say the reason I ever did React content in the first place was because of the money. I only ever reacted to videos because it was fun to make jokes with the community about it and just kind of get silly with the content together.
As well as why he would no longer be making that style of content.
It came at a cost to the creators, which I never wanted to do, and I never realized it did. So after watching plenty of videos from like Dark Viper as well as other content creators that have covered React content for a long time, I learned that it is not a good practice to engage in, so I stopped doing it entirely.
With the exception of news broadcasts and the occasional game trailer, Charlie no longer had interest in React content, as he'd see just how detrimental it was to the YouTube community.
I know there's plenty of fringe cases you can point to where someone whose content gets reacted to blows up, but that's still not the norm, and it's also still not really an acceptable fair transaction where you just kind of have to cross your fingers and pray that the person who reacts to your video somehow has an audience that will also translate to you. Like, that doesn't happen very often.
While Dark Viper's encounter with Charlie ended up being a positive one, the same couldn't be said for Synthetic Man, a YouTuber who decided it would be a good idea to go after Charlie's private life. On the 19th of April 2024, during an episode of the official podcast, Charlie made an offhanded comment about Synthetic Man's coverage of the new Fallout series and joked about his extreme takes.
There's only one guy that's sticking to his guns about the show is just woke propaganda, it's garbage, and it's the classic Synthetic Man. And I decided to watch what he said about Fallout because I was curious, and one of the first things he mentions is propaganda about race mixing.
You'd think that a joke like that would be met with a similarly jovial response, but that was far from how Synthetic Man reacted. By the 21st of April 2024, a viewer would inform Synthetic Man of Charlie's comment, and he would respond in the worst way imaginable.
Critikal called me out? You gotta be fucking kidding me. This is the biggest fucking shill campaign ever of all time. Like, Amazon's gotta be paying these fucks.
Synthetic Man would go on to search for something to use against Charlie and call him a woke sellout along with a slew of other insults when he didn't find what he was looking for.
Talking about old reviews. Fucking, this, people say I clickbait. This is like way worse than shit I do. Yeah, this is a 26-minute clip of him rambling about fucking movie reviews. And he says, I'm ashamed of my past self. Critical is the biggest sellout on this fucking platform. His word is worth nothing.
As extreme as his statements were, Synthetic Man wouldn't stop at just insulting Charlie, and decided to bring his personal life into it.
Greed ruined these YouTubers one day ago. Coming from him. You fucking scum. I'm glad this manlet got cheated on. His girlfriend got tired of his tiny penis and left him.
By this point, Synthetic Man hadn't even watched the clip of Charlie talking about him, but he was already throwing around harsh comments with zero justification. But when he did watch the clip, Synthetic Man's behavior only got more aggressive.
On here. This is probably like 20 million subscribers are shitting on a guy with 130,000. This is fucking pathetic that they feel the need to shit talk my video. I mean, we all knew how fucked like Critical became. He's the biggest sellout, legitimately like the biggest sellout on this platform.
Synthetic Man felt it was necessary to attack Charlie because he was sharing an opinion he didn't agree with. But unbeknownst to Synthetic Man, the entire internet would take notice and give a far more critical opinion of his content. In the weeks that followed, Synthetic Man's video on the Fallout series would receive over 17,000 dislikes, and a comment section that was equally as negative, with comments reading, "Some people really say shit like this and swear they aren't racist. Do you stay in your basement out of fear of minorities or sunlight?" As well as, "My guy really can't fathom the fact that people organically disagree with him." Viewers wouldn't be the only ones who criticized Synthetic Man for his immature antics, as his story made rounds in the commentary space as well.
You can't be out here criticizing everything, and the second someone doesn't agree with you, you start freaking out. You start throwing a fit because, oh my god, Amazon definitely paid Charlie $100 billion to disagree with me and talk about me on his podcast.
Being unable to handle criticism was something Synthetic Man shared with Sneo, another YouTuber who tried and failed to expose Charlie. The only difference between them was that Synthetic Man got to avoid Charlie's direct wrath, and Sneo didn't. Before his channel's termination, Sneeko's career on YouTube saw him create several thought-provoking documentaries and engage in interesting street interviews with random strangers. While Sneo would receive a ban that forced him to move to other video sharing platforms, he still kept tabs on what was happening on YouTube. So when Charlie made fun of his friends Fresh and Fit for posing as alpha males, Sneo couldn't help but respond.
This is his girl. So there you go. I mean, I told you, like, I could hear it in your voice. The fact that someone doesn't have to abide by those rules, someone could go and f a lot of bitches, that it's so foreign to a lot of people's ideas, because when you get brainwashed, when you get told that monogamy is the answer and you need to go and be married and just settle down with some girl, when you hear other people talking about stories like this, you're like, there's no way it's true, you're a virgin.
That statement would end up doing more damage to Sneeko's career than he could have ever imagined, as Charlie didn't hold back with his response.
What the fuck are you even talking about? What does this have to do with anything? What does bringing up a picture of me and my girlfriend have anything to do with anything that has happened? And where is monogamy even coming from? Like, none of this had anything to do with the video itself of me joking about a stupid fucking story that this guy told.
From criticizing Sneo for his defense of the Netflix movie Cuties, to bringing up his shameful cuck past, Charlie was pulling out all of the stops to put Sneo in his place. For now, Charlie's response video resulted in the entire internet clowning on Sneo for being a soy boy cuck. However, Sneo wasn't going to take this lying down, as he escalated the feud to the point of threatening actual violence.
The day after I posted my response, he went on stream and had a huge unhinged tantrum and meltdown about the whole thing, and then he sent some of his viewers over. So I was joking with them, saying like, oh, you guys must have just stopped the Cuties watch party over there at Sneeko's stream, right? Welcome, cucks, that kind of shit. So he started dancing around with the gun and threatening to come shoot me.
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips.
To which Charlie would embarrass him even further with this lesson on gun anatomy.
You absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute fucking dummy. The same way that this is also a mag. They're all mags. Stop saying clips, you look fucking stupid here.
Once again, Charlie had bruised Sneako's overinflated ego, but that didn't stop him from claiming that he would confront Charlie directly if they ever met in person.
So let me ask you, if you saw him walking down the street, what are you doing?
I would walk up to him and I would say the same stuff that you said in your videos. I would look him dead in the eye and say, all that stuff you said in your videos, say it to my face right now. Does anyone in the chat think that he would say any of this face-to-face, one-on-one? If I'm looking at Moist Critikal, who looks like a fentanyl homeless dude, who looks like he stands at a playground looking at, bro, he looks like he's homeless.
Sneo tried to defend himself by attacking Charlie's image by claiming he was promoting the Antichrist.
That dude actively still does that. He just dropped a music video of upside down crosses promoting Antichrist with dildos throwing at each other's face, promoting drugs, promoting all the degeneracy. This is just disgusting. Everybody, all these soy boys, continue to talk about my past and not talk about the present.
And calling him a PDF file.
Who looks more like a pedophile? Who would you rather not bring around your children? That dude with the beard and the fentanyl hair looking like he sleeps under a bridge, or me? Who looks like a pedophile?
Unfortunately for Sneo, it wouldn't take more than one comment from Charlie to dismantle his entire argument.
All that guy does is have these fucking tantrums and repeat the same 4 things over and over and over and over and over again. That would be the biggest headache in the world. I've listened to everything he's said recently. It's the same thing every single time.
As you'd expect, Sneo would again attempt to resort to violence to settle the feud with a tweet that read, "Lubo ducked the fight and debate lol. Commentary channels fence it so they never get cancelled and rely on drama for AdSense dollars." Ironically, Sneo was the only one making himself more of a laughingstock by sharing these DMs, as Charlie was already mocking him by stating, "Hey man, can you please calm down with these meltdowns for like another week? I'm doing another merch drop and would love to use you for those." By now, Sneo had already lost what little respect and credibility he had in the online community, but that didn't prevent him from making one last-ditch effort to salvage his reputation. On the 30th of March 2023, Sneo uploaded a video to Rumble titled, "I love the new Sneo," which was meant to highlight the positive changes in his career and try to fixate on the negative side of Charlie's.
What does Moist Critikal stand for? What does he believe in? Do you know? I don't. I've watched him for years. I cannot tell you what he believes. How have you reached a point on the internet where you could have 10 million subscribers as a commentary channel and have no basis of commentary?
Fortunately, Wood concede on some of his wrongdoings and put an end to the feud by apologizing to Charlie.
I'm officially retiring the soy boy image. I forgive everybody who advocated for my cancellation or made documentaries about me, and I'm ditching my attacking style of streaming. And I apologize to Moist Critikal for showing a picture on stream of you and your girlfriend. That was not very Christ-like. I'm sorry.
Sneo recognizing his mistakes and moving past them was the best thing he could have done for his career. Sadly, not everyone can do that, as creators like Vegan Gains couldn't fathom that they were in the wrong. Vegan Gains, aka Richard Burgers, is a creator who built his brand on 2 things, being a vegan and hating anyone who wasn't. From making proactive videos about enjoying the suffering of meat eaters,
I don't see why I shouldn't make a joke about his suffering and death. So who would like a haha, you're gonna die of cancer t-shirt?
To almost uploading a video of his grandfather having a heart attack.
I was planning on showing you guys footage of my grandfather actually having the heart attack. As soon as the paramedics got to the house, I took out my camera and started filming. But a bunch of people in my family, my mom, my grandmother, uncles, like that, they threw a big fucking fit about me showing that footage on YouTube.
Vegan Gains is channeled around antagonizing anyone who wasn't a vegan in an almost sociopathic manner. Unfortunately for Vegan Gains, that style of content didn't sit well with YouTube's TOS, which resulted in a brief termination of his channel. After getting his channel reinstated, Vegan Gains would seek out other ways of garnering views, and by the 27th of March 2020, he'd find exactly what he was looking for in one of Charlie's uploads. The video in question was titled, "YouTuber Tortures and Eats Animals Alive," and saw Charlie criticizing a mukbang YouTuber for the horrific treatment of animals.
It is absolutely baffling to me. Eating an octopus alive is like eating a f***ing dog alive. They're on the same level. She's basically just eating a sea-tied dog. It's f***ing crazy how this is even allowed and how she has an audience that supports it and defends her in the comment section. She has f***ing simps defending her in the comments section. Have some fucking shame. Even if you set aside morals and ethics, the content itself is fucking atrocious. All she does when she's not torturing and eating animals alive is scream, ah, oh, ah, 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 as, you know, you have goofy cartoon music blasting behind her.
Vegan Gains tried using this video alongside another titled I Tried Making Sausages and It Ended Up a Disaster as justification to call Charlie an arch hypocrite, claiming he was no different from the previous mentioned mukbang YouTuber.
So who are you to criticize So Young for not killing these animals quickly and humanely when you can't even do that yourself? So you're just a complete hypocrite, and if anything, what you're doing is arguably worse.
Naturally, Vegan Gains received serious backlash for his extreme leap in logic, with the video garnering over 30,000 dislikes. Not long after, Charlie would upload a response to the accusations and explain how Vegan Gains was giving veganism a bad reputation.
I want to lead this conversation by saying I have nothing but respect for veganism as a whole, but it's people like Vegan Gains who are overly aggressive and the feral monsters in his comments section that really give vegans a bad rap and a negative reputation in the world. They vilify anyone who's not a vegan. They treat it like a cult where you're a huge piece of shit, evil and wrong if you're not in their club. Now, of course, I'm not talking about everyone who is a vegan. I am talking about this community that Vegan Gains has fostered here and he himself. This is the worst way of ever getting anyone to convert to that belief. By constantly antagonizing them and throwing insults to anyone that is not already a vegan ensures that they will never take it seriously and always have a negative impression of your beliefs.
In addition to this, Charlie would affirm his belief that meat alternatives are the future, but state that people like Vegan Gains would only serve to push people away from that with his extreme ideals. When it comes to Vegan Gains' accusations of Charlie inhumanely killing animals, he had this to say.
This is a point I see brought up throughout all of veganism, that no matter how an animal is killed, no matter how humane it's deemed, it is inherently evil and wrong. But I have to ask, then does that make every animal in the animal kingdom inherently evil? Because the vast majority of animals out there eat other animals to survive, and they don't do it quickly. So does that make every animal in the animal kingdom that eats other animals inherently evil, or is that trait specific to humans alone? And if so, why?
Unable to understand Charlie's logic, or simply wanting to continue stirring up drama, Vegan Gains would upload a poorly thought out response accusing Charlie's audience of being toxic.
I find this extremely hypocritical for him to call me and my community toxic when his community is incredibly toxic. I just did a live stream a few hours ago, and because Charlie did this response video around the same time I started my live stream, a lot of his followers came over to my live stream, and what did they do? They called me names, they were spamming the chat with, oh, meat tastes great.
Vegan Gains not only refused to address the points Charlie made in his response, but he also affirmed that said points were completely irrelevant.
So not only are you just making ridiculous personal attacks and poisoning the well, but this is just completely hypocritical.
Similar to his previous video about Charlie, the video was dislike bombed, with several viewers calling him out for being disingenuous in the comment section, reading, I like how he's saying Charlie is twisting his words by twisting Charlie's words, lol. It was clear to viewers that Vegan Gains didn't care about having a healthy dialogue, and instead wanted to drum up as much controversy as possible to save his dying channel. Sadly, the controversy he would create would only degrade his career even further, with the final nail in the coffin coming in the form of another response video from Charlie.
I did open that video up for a dialogue. I thought that's what the goal was, but Vegan Gains has made it clear he doesn't give a fuck about a conversation, he only cares about milking the attention. So right after I posted my video, he went live on YouTube where he watched my 10-minute video for about an hour and a half. I want to say right away, I don't condone people going to harass anyone I make videos about. I hate that behavior. I will never encourage that shit. So the people that went there just to make fun of him or anything like that, you never ever have my encouragement or my blessing to do so. I think that shit sucks. But that did happen. He spent an hour and a half watching a 10-minute video because he'd stop every 2 words to screech and scream one of 3 things, one of only 3 phrases he seems to know: straw man, ad hominem, and poisoning the well.
From pointing out how Vegan Gains only cared about attacking meat eaters to showcasing the obvious flaws in his arguments, Charlie spent the rest of the video relentlessly destroying the vegan influencer's perceived moral high ground.
I feel like the content you make isn't geared towards getting people over to your side and seeing these great things veganism has to offer. It's more geared towards just getting high fives of approval, like, yes, you f***ing owned that meat eater. And I just don't see why you wouldn't try and take the route of, here's what good things veganism has and you might be interested in. Hey, I see you were talking about animal abuse, you clearly care, here's some interesting things, which you did kind of touch on, but then still wanted to get those little, ass pats from your community in the comment section of, yeah, you f***ing owned him.
Charlie would also observe that Vegan0 was more motivated by financial gain rather than furthering the vegan movement.
And I really do get the impression that it's just for the sake of milking a controversy because you made so much money during that live stream off it. And I think that's the worst part of it. Like I said, I had full intentions of having a conversation with you. You really didn't give me a chance because you had already posted a video by the time I even saw it. Before I even had a chance to reach out to you, you had clearly made up your mind that, yeah, I want to continue this. And now I just don't see why I would go on to debate you or bring you on the podcast to talk about it when it does seem your intention is just to grow from the controversy. You're getting a lot more views from this controversy, and like I said, you made a lot of money during that live stream.
You'd think after being exposed for trying to profit off baseless accusations that Vegan0 would take the hint and stop attacking Charlie, but you'd be wrong.
Charlie is trying to make it seem as though, oh, he just didn't have a chance to respond to my debate challenge. When that's a complete lie. You had plenty of time after I live streamed or even during my live stream, and you had plenty of time after you finished work, after you were live streaming. So at any time, you could have just, responded to me, messaged me on Twitter, and accepted my debate challenge, but you didn't because you're terrified of debating me and you're looking for whatever excuse you can to weasel out of it. And now you've made this stupid excuse that, oh, well, you're just looking for, like, attention and money. That's the only reason you're doing this. Really, Charlie, you're acting as if that I'm benefiting off of this more than you are?
Vegan0 was shamelessly trying to bait out a response from Charlie that would ultimately never come. What he did receive was another massively disliked video and a comment section that made fun of him, with comments reading, Vegan0, you are wrong because I don't believe that. I'm dead lol. Holy shit, I finally found a delusional enough person to use for my studies. As well as, WTF is this man's moral beliefs? He has contradicted himself like 10 times in 39 minutes. Vegan0's attempt to profit off drama with Charlie only caused damage to the overall performance of his channel, as his sub count would not only stagnate, but slowly decline over time. However, Vegan0 wouldn't be the only one to suffer immensely after trying to milk controversy with Charlie, as Nikocado Avocado did the same thing and failed spectacularly. Nikocado Avocado is a man who needs no introduction. He's made a name for himself by sharing his over-the-top personality through some of the most extreme mukbang videos on YouTube. However, this brand of content isn't without its negative side effects, as Nikocado has suffered various health complications over the years. Consequently, many creators have shared their concerns over Nikocado's overindulgent eating, with Charlie being one of the more vocal ones.
It's someone that I'm sure you've heard of. I've talked about him before. A lot of people have. He's been a big name on YouTube for a while. His name's Nikocado Avocado. If you're on Twitter, you've probably seen his asshole floating around pretty often. For some reason, it was a big trend in meme to just post Nikocado Avocado's OnlyFans content all over Twitter. So I've seen his butthole more times than I've seen him doing his mukbangs. For those that don't know, Nikocado Avocado is a mukbang YouTuber. It's primarily what he does. Mukbangs are when you just eat on camera. And that's about it.
Charlie would go on to show viewers how much damage Nico's recent eating habits were doing to his health.
I wouldn't have become disabled if it weren't for you people who encouraged these videos. This is the $6, this is the $10. Ouch! My ribs! How many months are we gonna have to endure this pain? All right.
Throughout the video, Charlie discussed Nico's slow decline, from having a more suitable weight and mental state, to his current course of throwing away his health for views.
The last 4 years, almost every day, he has done mukbangs like this, where he's eating 6 pizzas, 8 pizzas. He'll get like fucking McDonald's and he'll order everything off the menu and then ask if they can just tilt the grill over to get a little extra grease in a cup for him to drink on camera. It has been an extremely sad thing to see.
While Charlie was trying to give him a somber wake-up call about his health, Nico almost immediately perceived this video as a personal attack and posted a rather aggressive response video.
This person thought it would be cute to sit down on the computer and talk about my weight and my appearances and to fixate on how I look, as if I don't have the right to exist because I happen to be a little overweight, because I happen to have a little water weight, because I happen to be a little fluffy.
Nico would defend his current condition by stating his previous body weight was extremely unhealthy.
Something about me being vegan. Oh, look, he was so skinny. And he showed photos of me when I had just rotted a tooth out of my face, had to get surgery, had such low iron levels that I was anemic, that I had low libido, that I had brain issues.
As well as claiming Charlie was trying to over-exaggerate his situation for views.
On the screen, bigger number, better person. Everyone's so desperate to squeeze as much milk as possible from those beautiful...
Oh, let's look at his thumbnail, shall we? Let's see what he's trying to achieve with my face like this, and a title like this. This YouTuber is slowly killing himself. Reviews. So, are you trying to play the high and mighty game all on your pedestal? That you're not trying to squeeze something out of something? Yes, let's sensationalize things about me at my expense. I don't even know who you are.
Looking past Nico's abrasive attitude, he made some genuinely reasonable points, such as his disabilities being the result of prior health conditions, and the fact Charlie didn't tell his viewers not to harass anyone. However, it was obvious Nico didn't want to acknowledge how his current eating habits were eating away at his health, but that didn't stop Charlie from admitting where he went wrong.
But anyway, not to actually talk about the things Nick brings up that I think are very important to talk about. First of all, he talks about the people that went from my video to his to just be assholes. I always openly condemn this, and I should have again said don't go harass him, because it looks like people need a constant fucking reminder to not fucking harass people. You're not some kind of internet vigilante fighting for justice. That angry comment you left on Nick's video isn't going to help him. You're just being a fucking douchebag. And I completely sincerely apologize for overlooking the fact that I need to remind people how to behave online. I always hate, absolutely fucking hate. I've made 2 different videos on how much I hate when people go and harass people, but just from like YouTube videos and shit. It sucks. It fucking sucks. 100%. And Nick is absolutely in the right in calling that out.
With that said, Charlie would also address how Nico possibly misrepresented his points for the sake of boosting engagement.
It's clear immediately that Nick misunderstood what I was saying in my video. I don't know if that's on purpose just for the sake of having like an aggressive response video for YouTube drama, or if he genuinely didn't understand what I was trying to say, but he makes it clear that he didn't get what I was going for.
Despite this, Charlie would provide Nico with some insight on how he could do his mukbang videos more healthily and sustainably.
It doesn't have to do with his weight or his appearance, it has to do with what he's eating on camera and how often he's doing it. Take for example Matt Stoney. Matt Stoney will do these incredible food challenges. He'll eat 20,000, 30, 40,000 calorie meals in a single sitting in under an hour for a YouTube video, and they're fucking awesome. That's nuts to butts action. Matt Stoney eating the fuck out of 20 burritos at a time, double fisting 1,000 tacos per hand. It's incredible stuff, and it's so much food and so many calories, but Matt Stoney does that once every few weeks, once a month maybe. Nikocado Avocado is doing something comparable almost every single day.
Something to note was that Charlie understood he got some things wrong when he initially covered Nico's situation, as well as looking past the ways Nico was trying to misrepresent his arguments. But sadly, Nico wasn't ready to have a productive conversation on the matter, and instead opted to make another angry response video mere hours after Charlie's video went live.
Yeah, hatred. There's 50,000 comments collectively across 5 of my YouTube channels that I should be that I don't deserve to keep because I don't respect my body. And then you had the nerve to come back a second time and say, well, I never stand for hatred. I've made 2 videos one time about how I don't think it's cool. You have thousands of videos. I don't care if you've made 500 videos about comments. You take the situation at hand for what it is at face value. And if I approach you and say, look, this is bothering me, say something to your followers, and you don't go back to that video and help stop some of the hate, that's on you. That's your character. You want to talk about my character?
Judging by the 70,000 dislikes on the response video, it's safe to say it wasn't received well from viewers. But that didn't stop him from including Charlie's name in several other videos. Penguinz0 and Mr. Beast ruined me, eating like Penguinz0 Critical for 24 hours, and Penguinz0's brainwashed fans won't stop. However, one good thing did come out of this situation, as Nico actually lost some weight following his interaction with Charlie.
And now I've recently learned that Nikocado Avocado has been actively losing weight. He posted a new video kind of briefly going over how much weight he's lost, which he claims is roughly around 89 pounds, and I think that is incredible. The weight announcement does come during a pizza mukbang, but 89 pounds down and there's a noticeable difference, he's f***ing earned the right to splurge like that. I think that is fantastic.
Unfortunately, that good news wouldn't last for long, as Nico would eventually relapse and gain back the weight that he lost. Falling into a deep downward spiral wasn't something only Nico would experience, as Deaf Noodles suffered a similar fate after trying to make a fool out of Charlie. Deaf Noodles' time on YouTube was defined by two things: being a wannabe comedian and not taking important situations seriously. From misrepresenting allegations to poorly covering news stories, this pattern of behavior not only spawned several controversies throughout his career, but also destroyed whatever chances he had at being an actual comedian. The incident that made these controversial tendencies more apparent was the way Deaf Noodles handled the fallout of his failed Super Roast battle.
You're like my cousin if you were a girl.
Thank you. I bet you cried when you got those tattoos.
I did. I did. Are you from Detroit?
Take a guess.
No. I'm bombing so bad, and I don't give a.
Neither do I, bro. Come on, we in it together, doggy.
The event was plagued by technical issues, poor performances, and bad showmanship, which was only magnified by the fact the whole thing was being streamed to thousands of viewers. During the lead up to the event, Deaf Noodles had bragged about how much of a game changer it was going to be. However, now that it had fallen flat, the entire online community rightfully made fun of him. A few days after Deaf Noodles' poorly executed comedy night took place, Charlie decided to add a few roasts in of his own, with a video titled, "I've never seen something this horrible."
An event that he was hosting finally happened, which is this, the Super Roast Battles. It's an event he was hyping up for weeks. He was even trying to goad some YouTubers into coming on to like settle their beef in a roast battle. So he was like gonna charge them 15 bucks in order to come on stage and roast each other. None of them showed up. In fact, almost nobody in general showed up. As you can see, it's not exactly like a sold out stadium here. It's about 10 family and friends. And this was a complete disaster.
While Charlie did cover many of the issues with the event, he would focus more on how Deaf Noodles was insecure about his skills as a comedian.
I'm not supposed to win. You're supposed to win.
You look like a white trash fly.
You could have gone anyway with that. You went with white trash fly?
He's not even like making retorts. He's just feeling insecure now. He's like, you win, please stop, I'm dead. Please, God, stop. Now you're just hurting my feelings. Stop, you're fired.
Feeding into that insecurity, Deaf Noodles focused on the criticism and published a satirical apology to Charlie, which only made things worse.
Well, I am thoroughly disappointed that I dared to put on something together for my fans. I am not a comedian. I'm not even a human. I am just a clump of cells currently existing and spewing raw bullshit that I'm reading directly from a prompter for your entertainment.
Instead of focusing on how he could improve the roast battles in the future, Deaf Noodles decided it would be a good idea to deflect all criticism and conduct another roast battle.
I will once again produce a super roast battle 2 weeks from now so we can wrong every right that was left unturned. So we can break every cringe record in the history of humanity, so we can murder any possibility of a comedian having any credibility ever again, because as we all know, folks, comedy is perfect.
This decision would not only blind Deaf Noodles to all other parts improving as a comedian, but also severely damage any future prospects he had in that line of work. However, Deaf Noodles had more pressing matters to attend, as Charlie would upload a response video to Deaf Noodles' apology.
Like I said when talking about the event, I don't really know Deaf Noodles. I don't hate him. I've only seen a couple of things on Twitter where he said or did some bad shit that people were dunking on him for, and I've seen this roast. That's my whole exposure to Deaf Noodles, so I don't have strong opinions on him.
After analyzing and debunking many of the arguments made in Deaf Noodles' apology video, Charlie would offer some friendly advice on how not to act in the future.
And I think that's what he's going through at the moment, where he's impulsively responding to things that are kind of non-issues, like me laughing at the roast, or people's response to the roast, or whatever the fuck is going on Twitter, and making a video about it, which is only further hurting him. Which it's like a cycle, and there just has to be this point where you say like, okay, let me just step back from Twitter, which is the best thing you can ever do, you know, and I'll just, you know, handle it privately, as opposed to making everything a public spectacle, you know. There was drama on Twitter, and I'm just going to sit on it myself. I don't need to make a video talking about it, because if I do, people aren't going to want to hear it, and they might not like it.
Sadly, these words would fall on deaf ears, as the second Super Roast battle would have similar issues to the first. Worse still, Deaf Noodles made the mistake of impulsively attacking one of the only people who could have saved the event, his rival, Salvo Pancakes.
Red Mark! 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 Red Mark!
It's worth remembering that Deaf Noodles had invited Salvo to the event, and they planned on having an epic roast battle as the main event of the night. Whether due to insecurity or malice, Deaf Noodles would abandon that plan to seemingly satisfy his ego and regain control of the show after Salvo took the stage. Despite this, Salvo would remind Deaf Noodles who was really in control.
There'd be nobody in the crowd!
In one foul move, Deaf Noodles had successfully ruined what was left of his reputation, and to make matters worse, it was live streamed to even more people than the first Super Roast battle, and as a result, there was even more backlash than ever before.
Now, I think no matter what, it's a big overreaction from Deaf Noodles here. Unless, of course, there was an imminent threat where the guy was on stage talking about he's gonna start throwing hands with everyone in the front row or something, or making like legitimate threats to the crowd. Couldn't tell you, but it does seem like a massive overreaction from Deaf Noodles here. He pushes him from behind and then hides behind his friends to keep the other guy off of him, which I think is pretty lame. If you're gonna start some, you gotta finish that. You know, it's like vegetables, you gotta finish your plate, you can't just take a bite. If you're gonna push this guy and he's ready to respond, now it's on you to employ the knight's honor, you know, the code of conduct. You have started this fight, now it is your time to engage in it. I don't like when someone does that and then immediately hides behind the muscle.
In the months following the event, Deaf Noodles' career would rapidly self-destruct, as he lost 90% of his viewership, made videos asking his audience to unsubscribe, and eventually wiped all of his social media. The worst part about it was that he would eventually realize his mistake, but it was already too late.
I really do. I give up. It's over. It just really fucked it all up. I was really embarrassed and ashamed to admit it, but I did it. It's all my fault, and I've put myself here.
In Deaf Noodles' situation, Charlie had to do next to nothing for the career of someone trying to expose him to implode. However, the people attacking Charlie aren't limited to those he makes videos about. Strangely, he could be trying to do the right thing, and people would still try to expose him. In early 2024, Charlie would incorporate a positive element into his regular live streams. Instead of viewers donating to him, Charlie decided to give away various amounts of money to his viewers. All they had to do was fill out a Google form explaining why they needed the money, and Charlie would send the requested amount.
This is Bunny Girl Blitz asking for 150. Hey Charlie, I have $10 in my account right now and I'm hoping and asking for 150 just to put gas in the car and have some lunches for work till payday. Alright, I got you, Bunny Girl Blitz.
The amounts would range from $50 to a few $100s, and for a while, everyone got what they wanted. Viewers got their requests fulfilled, and Charlie got the chance to help the community that got him the platform that he enjoys today. However, by March 2024, this otherwise wholesome interaction would be spoiled by a few bad apples who assumed there was something more sinister at play.
So it seems like there's people that think me giving away random amounts of money to random viewers on stream is a tax write-off. Do you not know how that shit works? Do you know how tax write-offs work? Because I can't write those off.
After people further echoed this sentiment on Twitter, Charlie decided to address the situation directly.
What I read today is about how the giveaways I do on stream, where I just have viewers fill out a form, tell me how much money they want, what they're using it for, and then I go through randomly, pick people, and then give them that money they requested, is actually a sinister tax write-off. There's actually a lot going on behind the scenes that make this a really bad thing.
Charlie would go on to express how painful the accusations were.
This actually hurts me. I recognize how lucky I got in life, and I just want to do something nice with it. And then to be attacked, I suppose, by multiple people spamming that same kind of shit about how this guy super sucks, he's actually just doing this for a tax write-off, wake up, sheep. It's infuriating.
And later disprove them.
You can Google this information, and within the first 4 results get the official response. Can you write off donations to individuals as some kind of charity tax deduction? The answer is a resounding fucking no. Gifts to individuals are not deductible. Only qualified organizations are eligible to receive tax-deductible contributions.
Even after Charlie clearly explained his situation, there were still those who were desperate to believe there was some malicious element to the stream giveaways, with a tweet reading, "He's 100% doing it for the tax write-off, and it's something that's dumb to even really deny." Looking back on the creators that tried to expose Charlie, one key theme becomes apparent. They did more harm to their own reputation than Charlie ever could, whether it be their need to prolong controversy for views or desire to be right. These individuals unwittingly destroyed their careers, and all Charlie did was watch and laugh. But Charlie's influence is not just defensive, sometimes his coverage helps destroy people who absolutely deserve it. From bad financial takes,
"Dang, dude, nobody's ever done that." The entire amount. "I'll find you a jet." They found me a jet. I took delivery of it on December what?
To downright awful dating advice.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
There's no shortage of fake gurus on the internet, all claiming to be experts in their field, when in reality, they're nothing more than sleazy con men who take advantage of their desperate followers. They do what it takes to squeeze every last dollar from their audience, all while offering advice that's vague at best and dangerously misguided at worst. And while many of them go unchecked, some of these so-called experts find themselves in the crosshairs of Penguinz0, aka Charlie, who has no qualms about dismantling these digital snake oil salesmen and exposing them for who they really are. Liars.
The only thing more pathetic than a guy who calls himself an alpha male is a guy who calls himself an alpha male and then tries to sell advice to desperate, lonely men.
Jason is a budget Andrew Tate who tries way too hard to flex his non-existent wealth.
Take you, for example, and me. And we both pull up and we go to your girl. Odds are I'm gonna take that bitch. If you compared me to you, you're not gonna win that battle.
He found his small audience by flooding sites like YouTube and TikTok with thousands of short videos, spouting pseudo-intellectual nonsense.
You're poor if you vote for the president. Goldfish are smarter than humans. Your t-shirt is putting us into debt. Money is actually not real.
But as it turned out, this quote self-made multi-millionaire didn't even pay the editors who created these videos for him, with one of them writing, "Have been working for Wojo from past 3 to 4 months as video editor, and there are other 15 to 16 editors which Wojo hired. First 2 months were very good, but after that, he didn't pay us all for 2 months, and now he's not replying to any of us and have blocked us. So please be aware of this fraud Wojo, who calls himself a multi-millionaire, which he's not." As time went on, he transitioned from a fake marketing expert to an even worse life coach with terrible advice, like this.
If you go to the gym like these idiots, that's why you're broke. I'm gonna tell you why going to the gym is a fucking waste of money. If you truly think that you getting bigger arms and you getting bigger calves is gonna make you more money, you are very, very mistaken. Everything that happens within business or mental shit happens up here. Has nothing to do with anything else.
This even left his own viewers confused, unsure whether he was joking or actually trying to give serious advice, with comments like, "I think this guy is trolling," and "Is this guy serious?" This also caught the attention of Charlie, who uploaded his video on Jason in March of 2023, referring to him as simply, quote, pathetic.
I'm sure you've all heard the expression, "fake it till you make it," but today I want to take a look at what happens when all you do is fake it without ever making it. You end up like this loser we're about to take a look at today. A guy who has become a complete parody of self-confidence, but without any level of self-awareness.
Charlie started by roasting Jason's fake confidence stemming solely from his rented sports car.
Bro's out here rocking that man-dark body type and acting like he for some reason be able to take your girl just because he rolled up in a rented McLaren. This guy's entire personality is money. He's like a real-life Mr. Krabs, but with even skinnier arms.
Before talking about why he thinks Jason is faking his wealth just to appear more successful online than he is in real life.
Now, why I don't believe him about the success of his business is because the only thing he shows that's worth money is his car, the McLaren. He's made like 1,000 shorts about how much money he spends filling up a McLaren's tank, or how often he drives his McLaren, and that is the only thing worth a lot of money that he's ever shown, at least that I've seen. So that leads me to believe that it is 100% rented, or he really dumped all of his money into that one vehicle in order to portray himself as a successful businessman.
Charlie then moved on to the most brain-dead take Jason had in his arsenal and tore it to shreds.
Ah! Here's why the gym does not matter. I'm tired of guys that are like, oh, you know, I'm going to the gym, I'm trying to get fit. I feel like I have a pretty decent tone.
Did douchebag Slenderman get you with that jump scare in the beginning? So this is his rant about why going to the gym makes you a fucking idiot. Because he's skinny and insecure, so you going to the gym is offensive to him. It's pretty pathetic. You don't want to go to the gym, that's fine. Buddy's out here built like 2 french fries duct taped to an uncooked spaghetti noodle, and if you're happy with your body there, that's absolutely fine. But why shit on people that are going to the gym? He makes a whole rant about why it's stupid to do it, which is laughable.
This video became quite a success, amassing over 6.5 million views to date, something Jason wasn't very happy about, as evident from his salty comment which reads, "Keep giving me views, making my reaction video now to this clown," to which he only received one reply, calling him a clown. Jason, however, decided to go ahead with making a response, and just 2 hours later, uploaded a video that was over twice the length of Charlie's roast session. But despite trying his best, the best counter-argument he could come up with was criticizing the way Charlie said McLaren.
This part pisses me off because he says the name wrong like 8 times in a row. It's not McLaren, it's McLaren. Okay, so that's how we know this guy doesn't really have a lot of status. He doesn't understand these things.
Charlie didn't want to extend that drama, but felt like Jason needed another reality check. So a couple of days later, he uploaded his second video on Jason, dunking on his dim-witted finance take.
Contrary to the delusion that you're fucking encumbered by, you don't need 30K a month to start living. You don't. Like, I can't believe anyone actually thinks that way. What an outrageous claim to make.
While also pointing out how stupid it is for him to challenge Charlie to a boxing match.
The funny part is that I don't need to be in shape, and you know what? I'm gonna make this statement in the video. We should do a boxing match with him.
The jokes hurt your feelings. They got under your skin. So now you're coping with this defense mechanism of, I'll beat you in a fight because of what you said. And I feel like that's just the ultimate fucking L. Now, let's walk through this hypothetical. Let's say I took up the malnourished Martian on his fight offer and he beats my ass. He brutalizes me somehow. He takes his McLaren out and he's like, get a load of this, tough guy, and he starts wailing on me. What does that change about everything I've said about him? It's all still the truth. All the jokes are still applicable.
After getting dunked on by Charlie a second time, Jason tried to extend the drama for views and posted an even longer response. But by this point, it was clear from his tone that Charlie was getting under his skin.
Penguinz, whatever his name is.
Brother, you have the video up on the screen. What do you mean Penguinz, whatever his name is? You could have just opened your eyes.
See, this is the part where it's like, you have a number in your name, so that's why I'm like, I don't know if that 0 means anything. Also, if you get that triggered by the fact that I said that, that's a massive insecurity.
During this time, YouTuber Marky also uploaded a now deleted video calling Jason out for not paying his editors, to which Jason replied by threatening a cease and desist.
My DMs don't work. Email me, jason@wardrobemedia.com, as I have a cease and desist to send you from my legal team to take the video down.
Instead of backing down, Marky offered to take down his videos on Jason if he paid his editors, which finally made him cough up the money he owed. Charlie's videos also made everyone see how big of a loser Jason was, resulting in even more YouTubers roasting his nonsensical takes. He tried to farm views from the drama, but quickly realized the few thousand views weren't worth the immense backlash. He then tried to take the moral high ground for backing off the drama, stating, "I stepped away from these clickbaity videos to clean the image because it wasn't worth the virality. I don't want to do the viral videos I was doing, and I deserve to do what I want to do. There's been no viral real videos going out, and I don't want to do that posting anymore. But not before bragging about his supposed success one last time. Reading, using my name to make money is funny, shows you actually how much my image is worth. And I'll be back to make better videos, but I'm cleaning up my agency due to the increased business that we have gotten from the attention. He's since gone back to posting his usual bad advice on TikTok and YouTube, where he barely gets a few hundred views per video. That said, when it comes to bad financial advice, Charlie has only encountered a few gurus worse than Grant Cardone. A big difference between Jason and someone like Grant is that Grant is actually rich. He managed to make some smart real estate investments in the past, resulting in him becoming a millionaire. He's since used that money to present himself as one of the smartest businessmen on the planet, something that's hard to believe once you start paying attention to his questionable financial takes.
If I made 400 grand a year, I would be embarrassed with myself as a husband, a father, basically as a human being. 400 grand. How do you make sense of $35,000 a month? You guys haven't done the math. You have not done the math because you cannot live on 400 grand a year.
This just highlights how out of touch he is. As a comment on YouTube pointed out, 35k a month, not enough. This should be less of a how do you live on that and more of the how the hell do you spend that. I've literally always felt that 10 to 15k a month is pretty damn bougie. If you struggle to survive on 35k, you seriously need to get back in touch with your roots as a human. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, because the biggest issue with Grant is that he's a hypocrite who doesn't believe in anything he's saying. He constantly flip-flops between different advice, often saying the complete opposite of what he said in the past.
The savings rate this month hit a low of 2.7%. This is an unbelievable and ridiculous warning sign that I told you about last week.
The person that has $236.
Invest it all in yourself. You're already broke. Don't hold on to $236. Our parents, they taught us to save money. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Look, man, you're spending money on junk when you don't need it. Look at my little things, man. I know guys walking around with $500 and $600 headphones, and I got my little freebies that came with my phone. Why? What's the difference? So this is a 13-passenger Gulfstream. It retails for about $61 million. Truth is, most people don't like money. I know they don't like money. You know how I know they don't like money? Because as soon as you get some, you get rid of it. You buy shit with it. I mean, it's crazy. When you start putting stuff on a jet, it's bizarre. Like this door was not in here. This door right here, believe it or not, cost $850,000 to put in.
His fluctuating advice and complete disconnect from reality is also what inspired Charlie to post a video on The Man titled, "This Guy Gives the Worst Advice." He opened the video by calling out Grant for his insane take on how $35,000 a month isn't enough to live off of.
You have not done the math because you cannot live on 400 grand a year.
Probably one of the most out-of-touch statements I've ever heard.
With myself as a husband, a father, basically as a human being. 400 grand. How do you make sense of $35,000 a month? You guys haven't done the math. You have not done the math because you cannot live on 400 grand a year.
Probably one of the most out-of-touch statements I've ever heard. That's up there with Ubisoft claiming that their pirate game, Bone of Thieves or something, Bone on the Water, what is it called? Skull and Bones, since they claim that that was the first quadruple A game ever made. Like, it is shocking.
He then followed this up by exposing the real reason behind this outrageous statement from Grant.
Now, I'm not dumb enough to think that he really believes that. This is one of those tough love approaches that a lot of gurus take because for some reason, some desperate men have like a humiliation kink where they want to be like talked down to and belittled. He's just saying the things he thinks people want to hear from this audience in order to try and make money off of them.
And this couldn't be more true. At the end of the day, Grant's ultimate goal isn't to give sound financial advice that will help his viewers. Instead, his goal is to sell more of his 20+ courses that range from $50 to nearly $1,000. However, the stupidity of everything we've seen so far pales pales in comparison to the advice he has for young people, where he tells them to buy property with their monthly allowance and enjoy the rent as spending money.
Every 15-year-old kid should be doing this right now. If you're getting an allowance of $300 a month, buy a piece of real estate that pays you $30 a month. Only use the 30, don't touch the 300.
But how would a young, normal person get money?
Allowance, side jobs, side hustles. I was 14 years old. I was working every weekend. I was mowing lawns, doing whatever I could to get some extra money.
This is one of the most out-of-touch financial advice that anyone's put out on the internet, with one commenter satirizing just to show how absurd it is, stating, "I was working every weekend mowing lawns, saving my $300 a week allowance. When it came down to it and I finally had to leave the nest at age 9, I asked my father for a small loan of $1 million. Charlie agreed with this sentiment and didn't hold anything back when ripping Grant apart for this asinine line of thinking."
Hey pal, you just blow in from Stupid Town? It's actually impressive just how much dog shit he was able to fit in only 20 seconds. That is an achievement that he was able to drivel out so much trash in only 20 seconds. There's like a million things you can point out as being just blatantly wrong here.
He even went a step further and broke down the many flaws in Grant's arguments one by one, starting with what he thinks an average allowance looks like.
$300 a month allowance, Grant. Do you think that's normal? Do you think that that's the normal allowance that a child would get from their family? That is an absurdly high allowance. At that point, your family's already pretty well off. If you're getting $300 a month as a 15-year-old, why don't you just call over your butler Jeeves and ask him to grab a couple gold bricks out of the family safe? Then you've already succeeded as a millionaire. You don't even need Grant Cardone's advice on how to accomplish it. That is so fucking stupid as a number to be throwing around.
Before giving Grant another reality check.
The pipe dream of an allowance as a 15-year-old at $300 a month. Let's just say somehow you had that. Grant, as a 15-year-old, how are you going to start investing in real estate with $300 a month? You're never going to get approved for a loan as a 15-year-old that is getting $300 a month as an allowance. It's not even tied to a fucking job. So good luck finding any reputable place that's going to give you a loan for real estate. You are also 15 years old, so you can't even legally purchase real estate without someone co-signing with you.
Grant didn't think twice before throwing out this absurd advice, and Charlie's breakdown made this abundantly clear. What Charlie didn't realize, however, was that he was taking a major risk by posting this video, because, as it turns out, Grant is more than willing to file a lawsuit against anyone who criticizes his expertise. A few months before Charlie posted his video, Grant proudly announced his intent to sue anyone who calls him out on the internet, stating, "I will be aggressively seeking damages against all who attempt to defame my name, brand, or businesses without providing supporting facts and due diligence to support your libelous claims. And you will not be able to hide behind the veil of he is a public figure, in my opinion, or I was drunk as your defense. Additional warning, all YouTubers, influencers, podcasters, moderators, and hosts on audio platforms, including guests on live or recorded social platforms who seek to damage a business, brand, or name without providing supporting facts and due diligence to support their claims and headlines, must be stopped from their vicious and damaging libel." He wanted to intimidate all of his critics from speaking out against him, but this completely backfired when he had the bright idea to pay Twitter to run it as an ad across the platform. As one of the top replies mentions, "You ran an ad for this? Oh, your feelings got hurt, Lamau." And despite this bold claim, he never went after Charlie, possibly fearing the backlash he'd receive from his millions of loyal fans. Quietly accepting the criticism was the right approach, something the next fake guru on our list realized as well. Fresh and Fit is the name of an alpha male podcast hosted by duo Myron Gaines and Walter Weeks. The entire premise of this podcast is to 1. Invite a bunch of women on the podcast, 2. Ask vague questions, and 3. Cut them off before they can answer, all in an effort to make women look dumb and make themselves look like the ultimate chads who are the authority on dating and relationships.
Do you think the man that you're going to go out with more than likely is as selective as you?
Yeah, I would think so.
No, they're not.
Well,
They're not. Men are not nearly as picky as women. So who really has the privilege?
Facts. Ooh. Okay.
Gotcha, bitch!
Because I don't think women understand that, like, you guys are very replaceable.
When they're not purposefully belittling women, the two hosts are busy making up fake stories to strengthen their online alpha male persona. On May 13th, 2022, Charlie came across one of these obviously fake stories and couldn't help but expose the lie on YouTube with a video titled "Most Embarrassing Alpha Male Ever." He opened by setting the premise of the video.
The only thing more pathetic than a guy who calls himself an alpha male is a guy who calls himself an alpha male and then tries to sell advice to desperate, lonely men.
While diving headfirst into a made-up story told by Walter.
But today we're going to talk about my W in terms of having 3 women in one day.
It didn't take long for Charlie to begin expressing his doubt.
Let me stop you right there. I already don't believe you. It's super hard to think that anything they say is real when they constantly make stupid fucking claims like this one.
Not to mention they've both shown themselves to be frauds time and time again.
You know, we're both triple-digit notch count. He's in the quadruples.
There is no reality in the entirety of the fucking multiverse where this man has slept with one woman, let alone over 1,000 of them. Doctor Strange could peer into an endless multiverse and never find one where this guy slept with 1,000 women. They just say a whole bunch of made-up bullshit constantly.
In addition to just roasting Walter, Charlie also decided to put on his detective hat and point out the massive holes in his obviously fake story.
But I met this guy at a pool party. He's an NBA player. I won't say his name for some reasons, but you know, he's a pretty top-tier guy, high-value guy, right? I'm at the bar ordering drinks for my friends, and he says, "Yo, bro, what's a good spot to go party at tonight?" I told him, "Look, bro, you can go downtown, you can go to Brickell, Wynwood, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to downtown because it's a really good spot."
This story's already got more plot holes in it than Kingdom Hearts. Why would an NBA player go up to a random guy at a pool party to ask for a party later? He's clearly already connected, he found out about the pool party, so why would he go up to a complete stranger at a bar to ask for further advice on partying? And then going a step further to add him on Instagram.
While Charlie tried to keep things calm, some of Walter's claims were a bit too outrageous to ignore.
You are somehow putting yourself in the same ballpark as a fucking NBA player. You who runs one of the most laughed at podcasts on the internet since the My Little Pony fan club radio show. You think that you are a same level of high value male as an NBA player? Fucking mind-blowing.
Charlie's viewers didn't take it easy on the guy either, with comments like, "His speech pattern is the most insecure thing I've ever witnessed in my life. He literally talks like a scared child in the principal's office. And this guy is the embodiment of fake it till you make it, he just never makes it." This video ended up becoming quite popular, receiving 5.5 million views to date. And as I mentioned earlier, Fresh and Fit made the smart choice and didn't retaliate in any obvious way, or they'd have dug themselves an even deeper hole like the next fake guru on our list, Alpha Dom. As his name suggests, Alpha Dom is another one of those self-proclaimed alpha males who are great at attracting women. He is somewhat similar to the hosts of Fresh and Fit, but he takes things a step further and presents himself as a dating coach. He even has a whole website selling his $200+ video dating course, with a description that's entirely written by ChatGPT. However, while there's nothing inherently wrong with helping people find their confidence in dating, Alpha Dom's advice on the matter is downright criminal.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
Telling men to ignore a lack of consent is not a good look, something Charlie pointed out in his video as well.
You couldn't script a worse start to this lesson. You don't have to accept her rejection. Brother, that's like the #1 thing you should accept, not just with women, but with people in general. Nobody likes the pushy douchebag that refuses to take no for an answer. The guy's out here cosplaying as a car salesman, treating romance like it's a Yu-Gi-Oh duel. No, I will not allow this to happen because I have this trap card. The conversation will continue whether you like it or not.
For anyone who isn't familiar with Dom's teachings, this might look like satire. Maybe he's trying to parody other alpha male dating coaches. Unfortunately, Dom is serious about everything he says, and even doubles down without a second thought.
I'm a professional dating coach and I teach guys how to understand the female mind. Now, if you're one of the people that haven't applied anything in my course or my videos or anything like that, this video is not for you. This is an advanced technique.
Charlie then proceeded to tear down everything Alpha Dom had to say about dating, from mocking his insistence on ignoring consent.
I knew a girl, and she said, oh, you know, I'm not really interested. And I, instead of just going, okay, and then just turning away, I did this. Why would you not be interested in me? I'm the best.
It's genius! The chosen one! Lisan Al-Gaib! How could we have not thought of that technique? Whoa! Instead of just accepting when a girl isn't into you, you say, wait, but you should be. No, you! He's done it! He's cracked the code!
To pointing out just how obviously fake and made up his stories are.
Of all of the things in the world that have never happened, that has never happened the most. That is the most didn't happen shit of all time. What a bunch of baloney. Actual horseradish on this story. Just a blatant lie trying to get dudes to buy into this fantasy that he's selling, to try and go to his website and give him money for the worst advice you'll ever hear.
And even highlighted his struggle to keep it together after getting called out by some of his viewers on TikTok.
TikTok were making fun of this guy, so he responded to the haters.
So I'm gonna try to gain composure in this one. I've filmed this video way too many fucking times.
No, you didn't. That's an absolute lie. You're trying to put on a strong face because you're the alpha, but it's pretty clear the comments and what people are saying got to you, got under your skin, and you're making this as a strong response to it where you're laughing in their face. But the laugh is so unbelievably forced and fake, it's very clear. This shit looks like some kind of high school drama club audition laugh.
At this point, the smart thing would have been to accept the criticism and move on. Alpha Dom, however, decided to fight back by showing random PayPal screenshots to brag about the supposed money he's making after getting called out by Charlie.
A lot of people have been saying, hey, once Penguinz makes a video on you, you're done. Your internet career is over. One thing. Except there's one issue with that. Oh man. Cry.
He also argued that Charlie only mocked him because he didn't have the full context that the complete Alpha Dom course offered. What he probably didn't expect was that Charlie actually took him up on the offer. On the 24th of February 2024, he returned with a second video on the self-proclaimed alpha male, this time with complete access to his course. And it was just as disastrous as you might expect.
The girl of your dreams is rare. Nope. It's not. The girl of your dreams is not rare. And here's why.
With one comment under the video writing, his advice is so dangerously effective that he had to wear his seatbelt while giving it. If Dom had stayed quiet after the first roast, he likely would have been completely forgotten. Instead, he tried to clap back and ended up becoming the poster boy for fake alpha male gurus in Charlie's fanbase. He should have learned from the example of BitBoy, who backed off the minute he was called out by Charlie. BitBoy is one of the largest crypto channels on YouTube. His content is centered around the idea of Ben Armstrong, the channel's host, being a crypto expert, a guru if you will. But as is typical for most things related to crypto, it wasn't long before Ben started using the trust his audience had in him to scam them out of potentially millions. Then, in November of 2021, YouTuber Atozy called him out on his many scams.
I told you there's a project guaranteed to increase in price. I know you would probably want to jump in, but I'm sure the first thought you would have would be, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. Well, this is where we get into the complicated gray areas of decentralized finance.
What was that, BitBoy? A project that's guaranteed to go up in price? Let's see where this project is today. Wow.
But instead of owning up to his crime and apologizing to his audience, Ben decided it would be more effective to silence Atozy. So, in May of 2022, he filed a $75,000 defamation lawsuit against his critic. This was a terrifying situation for Atozy, as a prolonged and expensive lawsuit could have meant losing everything he'd built over the years.
So yeah, I have officially been sued. This is horrifying. And I realize I'm sadly risking everything I've built over the last 5 years just to stand up for myself and make this video.
But just when Atozy thought he'd spend the next few years fighting Ben in court, Charlie came to his rescue. On the 20th of August 2022, Charlie made a video covering the lawsuit.
His name is BitBoy Crypto. He's a YouTube crypto influencer who's currently suing another YouTuber named Atozy,
while also calling out Ben for his scummy tactics.
Every now and then, some pathetic, stinky worm decides it's a good idea to try and legally strong-arm a YouTuber they don't like with some lawsuit to scare them, or get money out of them, or get the video taken down or something like that. And I always can't help but find it comical, because it never works out in their favor. This whole thing was about him being, upset and riddled with anxiety, worrying that Atozy's video ruined his reputation, even though BitBoy's lawsuit has done significantly more damage than Atozy could have ever done. Angrily filing a frivolous lawsuit on the internet is like publicly guillotining yourself. It's reputational suicide. I promise you, Atozy's video did negligible damage to your brand. However, you have just completely wiped your ass with it.
Charlie's video, alongside coverage from other popular YouTubers like CoffeeZilla, brought a lot more exposure to this bogus lawsuit. The backlash from this became so intense that just 5 days after Charlie's video, Ben was forced to drop the lawsuit completely. And while he's still active on YouTube, his viewership is a mere fraction of what it used to be. Atozy, on the other hand, is doing better than ever. It's wild to think how differently this could have played out if Charlie hadn't exposed the fake crypto guru in front of his millions of viewers. And when the targets move from fake gurus to genuinely awful internet personalities, the stakes get even darker. From destroying a TikTok of her terrible response to SA allegations,
she released the worst apology video I think I've ever seen,
to exposing another one for pistol whipping a fan.
He was recently arrested for pistol whipping some guy during an incident of road rage.
It's surprising to see how these creators thrived on TikTok, until Penguinz0 used his platform to show who they really are. And today, we'll be investigating the role Charlie's scathing commentary played in the utter destruction of some of the worst creators on TikTok. We'll explore how his critical analysis has not only shed light on these creators' flaws, but also contributed to their downfalls. Starting with Sienna May, who rose to fame on TikTok through her body positivity content, amassing 12.6 million followers and over 1 billion likes. But she got on Penguinz0's bad side when she released the most bizarre and out-of-touch apology video known to man. But before we discuss her apology, it's important to remember that the allegations against Sienna were very serious. She was accused of essaying Jack Wright, who is the co-star of The Hype House, a collaborative content creation house that made it easier for different influencers to make videos together.
Sienna May was accused of assaulting another TikTok star named Jack Wright. There were videos that came out that showed Sienna doing questionable things to Jack Wright's body while he was unconscious, and there's just a lot of evidence that led to these allegations against her.
TikTok user Time War posted proof of Sienna taking advantage of Jack while he was unconscious.
This video is from November 30th, 2020. As you can clearly see, that is Sienna and that is Jack passed out on the couch, unconscious. This is me in the white hat. I was taking care of Jack while he was unconscious on the couch. Sienna then hops on top of him, and I didn't think nothing of it. I started hearing kissing noises and I peeked over my shoulder, and it was exactly that. I was so thrown off guard that I had to flee the situation.
And eventually, on January 21st, 2022, Jack uploaded a video detailing what Sienna did to him.
They said they pulled her off of me. Twin, a friend, and another friend got in an argument with Sienna saying, "You can't do that. Jack doesn't like you like that."
He also recounted the first time Sienna crossed boundaries with him.
It was after filming. We went into the room. I was just chilling on my phone on the bed, and she got naked, like completely naked, and straddled me when I was literally just chilling on the bed. But I didn't know what to do in like the situation because it was just like random and weird. Quickly told her, "Sienna, get off. We're just friends. Stop."
Towards the end of the 17-minute video, Jack mentions that he wasn't the only person who had been made to feel uncomfortable by Sienna. Jack then showed screenshots of conversations he had with other guys, all of whom claimed they were put in similar situations by Sienna.
Since everything was brought to social media, multiple guys came out to me and said that Sienna did similar things to them. And basically, I'll show the text right now.
To protect her reputation, Sienna published a Medium article in response to Jack, where she denied the allegations, explaining that she was simply expressing affection freely. She apologized for breaking Jack's boundaries and stated, quote, "The last thing I would ever want to do is breach someone's boundaries, and for that, I've become explicitly aware of the way I interact with others, and will do better. Jack, if you're reading this, I apologize if there were times I made you feel uncomfortable." But despite apologizing, Sienna still maintained that what she did was not SA. However, when merely denying the numerous claims made against her didn't work, she resorted to posting her apology video, a video that was memed to hell and back, and for good reason. Charlie quickly pointed out that the video was far from an apology.
You'll soon notice this isn't really an apology video, it's just like a ballet recital. She doesn't really say sorry for anything at all, and she makes herself the victim in the situation. Like, I had to take a whole month off social media. I just needed to clear my head from all the negativity, which I didn't deserve.
And that Sienna uses it as an opportunity to paint herself as the victim. He explained that Sienna avoided directly addressing any of the allegations against her, and instead talked about inspiring people as a creator.
I feel proud of the person that I am. Even if I can only inspire one person, I will have done what I was put on this earth to do.
Charlie also commented on just how strange her response was.
It doesn't address anything. This is like if the feds came up to me and they're like, hey Charlie, we caught you on camera burning down this Toys R Us. And my response is, I just love to create. I love to inspire and show unedited photos of myself. Hit it with the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse dance.
Charlie also highlights her strange choice of song for the video. The song lyrics stating I did nothing wrong made everyone question whether Sienna was even a bit remorseful.
The song she chose couldn't have been worse, I'd say. Like, the very end is, I did nothing wrong, I'm young, and she's accused of assault. Like, this is probably not the song you'd want to use. It feels really off given the circumstance for why she's doing this. It's really a fucking weird choice. It almost feels like she's rubbing Jack's face in the whole situation. She makes herself the victim and then tries to spin this whole thing as a way of making herself like the hero of the story.
He ends the video by discussing how Sienna continued to make videos, completely denying any of the claims against her.
Before I start, I stand with what I said in the last video. I did not assault Jack Wright. We must always listen to victims. Yes, Jack was a victim of assault, but not by me. And I am a victim of continual attempts to cancel me and slander my name with false claims. It will not work. I'm here to clear things up and provide all sides of the story because I have been labeled as a assaulter.
But despite these desperate attempts to save her reputation, Sienna lost 800,000 followers in January 2022, exactly around the time when Charlie posted his video about her, and her rate of gaining new followers has been stagnant ever since. Sienna also removed herself from Netflix's reality TV series Hype House, because she did not want to, quote, relive the online bullying in light of the crazy Team Jack and Team Sienna sentiment online. And while Sienna was able to regain some of her audience back, the same can't be said about the next TikToker on our list. Bentellect is a huge TikToker with over 11 million followers, but his fame is questionable since most of his content is just bland reactions to memes and tweets. However, lazy content was about to be the least of his problems. In a video titled Huge Loser, uploaded on the 20th of August 2023, Charlie broke down how Ben made the creator, Jordan Max, deeply uncomfortable when he insisted on filming an OF video with her.
So this horny little goblin asks her before going on the podcast, do you want to make a video for OnlyFans? To which she says, when? He says, today. And then she's saying, no, you need to be tested within the last 14 days and have an OnlyFans creator account. But then he says, I mean a video for your page. Oh, what a benevolent saint. He was actually just thinking about her the whole time. He thought this would be a good opportunity for her to make some OnlyFans content with the great Big bentellect.
Jordan published screenshots of Ben's creepy advances in a tweet she made on the 29th of July 2023. And when Jordan denied giving him what he wanted, he decided to remove her from the podcast episode entirely.
He continues by saying, I was just thinking you're helping me with doing a video for my YouTube, so maybe I could help you with your OnlyFans. And she replies, I'm good, thanks. So then he goes, no worries. And then, hey, I'm gonna do the pickle video with someone else, thanks though. To which she asks why. To be honest, I thought it would just be fun to film and see where things go, but I got it. So he gets real sad and pitiful, like, no, I get it. I just thought it'd be fun. But clearly it won't be fun. I'm gonna do it with someone else then, how about that?
After Jordan's tweet went viral, Ben did what he's best known for. He sent Jordan a message threatening to sue her if she didn't take down the post. But this was obviously an empty threat. The tweet didn't go anywhere, and the evidence against Ben kept piling up. As it turned out, Ben had been asking for the same thing from another woman as well. After repeatedly asking her if she wanted to make content with him and being met with no reply, he texted,
do you want to come over tomorrow night? Actually, are you down to come over tonight? Or are you just a flake? Doesn't even give her time to respond, just immediately gets combative. And then he waits only like an hour and 40 after that, and then he's like, you know what, okay, Jesus Christ. Yeah, sorry, babe, but you're just too much of a flake. Bye.
Ben also goes on to shame her for being an OF creator, something that Charlie points out as hypocrisy on.
It seems like you're trying desperately to get into OnlyFans but keep getting rejected and can't handle it. So how can you have the gall to try and shame them for it when you are desperately trying to do it yourself?
Ben's disgusting conduct with women becomes even clearer in the screenshots Charlie discusses next. In them, Ben seems to be parting ways with a woman, only to slander her via text.
He says, for your future self, if you're going to turn around on a guy and say, hey, I'm not down for friends with benefits shit, just say that before you go through all the bullshit. Boring as fuck. Not my problem that you turned around and quit drinking because you're an alcoholic and now pass out at 8 p.m. Fucking peace out, bitch.
He then ends the conversation by saying, I stand by every single word that I said. This did not age well, as it led to Ben making a now deleted Twitter apology.
I've recently been accused of some heinous actions and would like the opportunity to share my disgust at these accusations. I'm a firm believer in the rights and equality of all humans, including women. If that's not the biggest red flag immediately, I don't know what else is. I stand by the rights for all humans, and that does include women.
He then followed it up with another apology video.
Hey guys, there's a lot being said about me on the internet right now, and I just wanted to clear the air. The first thing I want to say is I'm sorry to anyone that I've made feel uncomfortable. I want to say to any girl who I've been rude to, whether through text or in person, that I'm sorry. I understand that me being sorry does not excuse that kind of behavior. I will continue to work on myself and do better. Thanks, guys.
Which Charlie describes as the first AI ChatGPT written apology.
The first AI ChatGPT written apology. This just ticked every basic box. There's really nothing of value here at all.
After numerous YouTube channels like Penguinz0 started exposing his creepy behavior, Ben was forced to make his Twitter account private. His merch site got deleted, and Ben's follow account has taken a huge hit since August 2023, the time Charlie uploaded his video about him. Ben got trashed by the online community for what he did, losing his reputation. But I see Wyatt had it worse. He got caught by the law and faced real legal trouble. For those unaware, I see Wyatt soared to TikTok stardom, amassing 850,000 followers with his vlogs, mukbangs, and cooking videos. His account currently sits at 1.4 million followers, and as the caption states, his account is now run by his wife. So what happened that made Wyatt lose access to his account? On the 28th of March 2022, Wyatt was recklessly driving his pink SUV. He stopped his car right in the middle of the road, causing a scene. Two other drivers told him to move, but instead of listening, Wyatt followed their car and got into a heated argument, even hitting one of them with his gun. Charlie made a video on this incident titled Most Delusional Influencer Ever. During his video, Charlie shared footage of Wyatt's arrest, where Wyatt had the nerve to ask the cops, do you know who I am?
He holds himself up like he's Jesus Christ because he has 1 million followers, and the laws don't apply to him anymore. Nope. It's almost impressive how unlikable Wyatt is. He chose the one sentence that'll immediately make everyone in the world hate you. The cops are confronting him and he's like, you guys don't know who I am? I have 1 million followers on TikTok. I can pistol whip whoever I want. I'm a TikTok superstar. You guys, oh, you must want autographs. Okay, I get it, sorry.
Charlie didn't hold back, highlighting just how out of touch Wyatt is with reality. And believe it or not, Wyatt's delusions about his fame only got worse from there. It's got to the point where police had to tackle Wyatt because he refused to cooperate. And to top it off, they found a gun in his car, a gun which he denied having.
Would you mind if we just look through it real quick? Are you allowing us to look through the car or no? Yes! Yes? Okay, we're gonna do that then. Just got keys or fob.
Wyatt also repeatedly told the officers that they didn't have any evidence on him.
Proof, show me the video proof where I hit him with a gun.
We don't need video proof.
Yes, you do. You don't even know what gun is the same gun that I hit with if I did. But you want to sit here and act like I'm a criminal?
But Charlie wasn't convinced.
There is video proof of the reckless driving and nearly hitting people in the parking lot, and the victim who got pistol whipped showed the injuries, and his girlfriend also confirmed the pistol whipping. So I'd say there's a high level of confidence behind the pistol whipping being the real story.
This delusion peaks when Wyatt absurdly claims to have 58 million followers.
I have 58 million followers, baby, bro. Everybody who's been on TikTok or Instagram is so quiet.
And instead of apologizing, he plays the victim, stating that people are fabricating stories about him due to his so-called fame.
Somebody swerving into my lane, brake checking me, wanting me to stop, wanting me to race my car, coming out the car. I know that's a fan.
Charlie quickly gives him a reality check and points out that Wyatt isn't as famous as he thinks.
He doesn't have 58 million followers, you absolute goober. You have 1 million followers on TikTok, which is your only platform. He is in a paranoid delusion. Not everyone in the world knows who he is, and not everyone is out to get him.
Wyatt also threatens a police officer. And once again, Charlie puts him in his place.
I don't know how stupid you have to be to threaten physical violence against a police officer. She was very patient with this guy. I guess because he is so pathetic, all you can really do is laugh at someone that's this embarrassing.
But even if Charlie stayed quiet, Wyatt's empty threats didn't work at all. According to police reports, Wyatt was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, 1 count of battery on an officer, and 1 count of resisting arrest. After being released, Wyatt made a TikTok in August 2023 talking about the video of his arrest.
But people are just saying like the nastiest things without knowing the backstory at all, and I know my real fans know my backstory. So let's go boost me on YouTube live stream real quick, and I'm gonna try to get into the algorithm or something somehow, and maybe get these fucking haters on my YouTube live stream and check their asses. Come on.
But he wouldn't be out of jail for long. While out on bond awaiting trial, Wyatt was rearrested in 2023 for keying a car. He is currently still in jail and has not yet been sentenced. In a call, Wyatt mentioned that he might receive a 51-month sentence.
They're offering me 51 months, but obviously that's like outrageous. Almost 5 years is just like ridiculous.
And similar to Icy Wyatt, the upcoming TikToker was also willing to put his life and reputation at stake, but his reasons for doing so were vastly different. Nikocado became an internet celebrity by making videos exploring the great outdoors. Being an outdoorsman is risky business, but there are definitely some risks that can be avoided. However, as Charlie points out, some creators are willing to risk their own life for views. In a video titled Anything for TikTok Views, Charlie goes into detail about how Nick purposefully ate tapeworms out of a fish for a TikTok video.
Oh boy howdy, he got some dollar signs in his eyes and he started to recognize that that is the gold right there. He just got the jackpot because now he had something that he could do that's a little different that would generate some views for him. Eat the tapeworms.
And the video Charlie was talking about was uploaded in September of 2023.
A largemouth bass is a great first fish to fillet because they don't have round heads, so they're not going to be wobbling all over the place. Realizing that he has tapeworms, so it's going to be pretty tough to eat. I looked it up, and apparently if you cook the fish thoroughly, the tapeworms shouldn't affect you, but I can't say that I'm not experiencing problems after I ate it. This is the fillet I got. I seasoned it, threw it in the pan, and then presented it right next to the tapeworms, which was a mistake.
And to no one's surprise, he started feeling sick within 2 days.
This might be TMI. It's been 2 days, and I've not stopped going to the bathroom. I'm kind of afraid that I literally have tapeworms in my stomach. I've never gone to the bathroom this much in my life. I'm mildly concerned.
Charlie pointed out that it was clear he'd contracted the parasite.
I'm not a medical professional, but you ate tapeworms, so I'm going to say with a high level of confidence, you probably contracted a parasite. But, you know, I'm not highly educated when it comes to parasites. I'm just doing the old eyeball test.
And just as he'd hoped, Nick began receiving a ton of attention for his stunt. However, things took a turn for the worse when he made a video talking about his deteriorating health.
You guys remember those tapeworms that I ate a couple months ago? Well, they're back and they're making me feel absolutely terrible. Every day that I wake up, I feel more and more fatigued. No matter how much sleep I get or food that I eat, I always just feel like crap. I have stomach pain and non-stop diarrhea, which are the main symptoms for having tapeworms. I went to the doctor to see what's going on, and he says that I definitely have them again. More than likely, I never killed off the original batch, like at least one of them was still alive in my body and they've started to reproduce again. This time I'm on 3 anti-parasitic medications, and I am just really hoping that this winds up going away, because if not, I'm gonna have some serious problems. The worms can go into my eyes and brains and literally eat me from the inside out, so if I don't figure this out, I could end up dead.
Charlie pointed out that this wasn't simply an accident. Wyatt knew that tapeworms were harmful, and he still chose to eat them because
your mind is so warped from all of this desire for more and more TikTok attention that for some reason you were able to justify putting your health at risk here.
And while him contracting tapeworms was expected, his next video was definitely a surprise.
Update on the tapeworm situation with Nick. 7:30 this morning, Nick passed away at the Kaiser Hospital. Nick was on anti-parasitic medication, and unfortunately it was not working. The worm spread to his eyes and brain. By the time we made it to the hospital, it was clear that Nick was not going to be able to make it.
That's when the really dramatic organ music comes in. Doom! So he didn't survive, apparently. So this is a friend of his, I guess, announcing that he passed away from the tapeworms that he contracted from eating the fish.
However, as it turns out, Nick faked his own death for likes, and Charlie was not amused.
Tomorrow Eternal Funeral Services is where we're going to be hosting something for Nick at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. It is going to be an open casket. He wanted you to know. Hopefully you guys can all remember him fondly, and I'll be seeing you guys all at the service.
I apologize for the trauma I just gave you guys. I assure you I'm happy, I'm here, and I'm going to be making content for a very long time.
Oh my god, it's a miracle! He's not dead! Oh! We've been fooled!
He reveals that Nick posted this video right after discussing his brother's death.
So that's some psychopath shit to go from talking about the death of your brother into misleading your audience of children into thinking that you're dead.
And explains that Nick blatantly lied to his audience.
No one watches the full video for things. Not on YouTube, not on TikTok. People don't even read past the headline on an article on Twitter. So not many people watch the whole video for when Nick came out of nowhere with a patriotic, heroic return. So most people just assume that the guy talking in the beginning here was being honest. You know, like they just took him at his word because they don't know any better.
Soon after, Nick uploaded an apology video and tried to make amends.
I'm really happy that you guys are holding me accountable for this because creators lying to their audiences is not cool, especially in the manner that I did. I was under the impression that because I was at the end of the video that it would wind up being taken as a lighthearted joke. I should have definitely seen that that was a super foolish take. It was just dumb.
After Charlie's video garnered over 2 million views, Nick deleted all TikTok videos of him eating tapeworms, including a video about faking his death. He received tons of negative comments on Charlie's video, with one viewer even stating, "The fact that he's presenting how he got infected and all the dangerous health complications with a smile on his face literally says everything. He's there for the view count and he knows this is going to increase it." Many now suspect his videos are fake, as he keeps making TikToks where he eats things that are clearly health hazards.
Dinner is served. Bro, what is this? What did you make me, dude? Let's give it a taste test. I'm excited. I'll start with the tail. Wow. You guys see that chunk of meat I just got? I like it a lot, bro.
But Nick's actions seem tame compared to this next TikToker. You see, Nick was only putting himself at risk in his content, but Paul Breach's creepy behavior put multiple young women in uncomfortable situations. Paul's TikTok page, Beauty Beyond the Eye, currently has over 900,000 followers, and mainly consists of dance videos and thirst traps. He first became popular from this dance video. But when Penguinz0 described him as
a confirmed creep,
his whole career came crashing down. In the video titled Infamous Creep, uploaded on the 27th of November 2023, Charlie deep dives into Paul's creepy behavior. First, Charlie brings attention to how strange it is for a man in his 40s to be making thirst traps.
His whole shtick is posting thirst traps, even though if you're thirsty, this isn't gonna quench it. What he's doing is just gonna be putting sand in your mouth and making it worse, like giving you the fucking cinnamon challenge. What he posts is the opposite of a thirst trap. It is alarming. He is way too old to be doing this garbage.
He also shows a cringy clip of his TikTok lives where Paul acts as if there's a woman around him.
Love. Fucking hell. Jacob, thanks for the follow. Yeah, so much. That is a fucking cracking impression of me, love. How you do that?
It's actually one of the saddest goddamn things imaginable, to be so lonely that you have to fake interaction around you.
But the worst of his actions were yet to come. People started noticing that Paul would almost exclusively reply to young female fans in his comments, and he even got called out for it.
He even got called out on this pretty often, way before like he had to take his account down. I think he got banned. I don't think he took it down. There were always people taking notice of like, Paul, why do you always just reply to like these really young girls?
Why do you only talk to girls in the comments? Because it's only the girls that are commenting, and if it's a comment from a guy, I say hi. I don't know. Maybe because I'm dating them all and we're having babies. Only to the ones I'm married to, which is all of them.
And this is where Charlie goes on to expose a video he directly sent to a fan.
Lainey, smile. That is an order. And then jump in a cold bath. Get yourself smiling, get yourself happy. I've been a moody little Yeah, for a little while, and that is just stupid on my behalf. So I apologise if anything I've ever done has brought you in a low mood. I know I was an idiot at the start of the week. I've taken steps to fix that.
Charlie also reacted to Oompaville's video, giving a lot more attention to the serious allegations against Paul. These allegations against Paul kicked off with a TikTok investigation, revealing he'd been liking some questionable pictures.
Paul had liked multiple images on Instagram of girls between the ages of 16 and 17 in their swimsuit.
And what was Paul's justification? He claimed that girls were cancer survivors.
Paul's official response to this was that he only liked those images because she was a cancer survivor.
However, it turned out that most of these girls had no clue who Paul even was. One TikTok user, My Name's Boo 1.0, said Paul's actions reminded her of when she was groomed by a 27-year-old as a teenager.
Ago, when I was 16, I was dating a 27-year-old man. Paul has mentioned his age, his ex-girlfriend or wife's age, and they've got a son together. And we've done the math, and she would have been 16 or 17 when she fell pregnant. And that was the exact age gap between me and my ex-partner.
Boo then went on to make another post showing that a young girl had reached out to her, claiming Paul had been messaging her when she was 15. In the message,
Paul was DMing this minor when they were 15. He said he was upset to hear about her health and sorry to see her struggling and suffering.
In her video, Boo also mentioned that Paul's wife was likely a teenager when they had a child together, which was confirmed by some users who found Paul's old Facebook posts. When questioned, Paul didn't even deny the allegation.
Did you get a 17-year-old pregnant?
Did I get who pregnant?
A 17-year-old pregnant.
I thought I got a 15, 16, 20, 19, 18, 14, 10.
Right. Do you have a baby mum?
No, I'm not talking about anybody in my family.
This solidified his reputation as a certified creep. After ruthlessly being exposed by Charlie, Paul was beginning to get a lot of hate on the internet. A subreddit was made dedicated to solely investigating his creepy behavior. A petition to remove Paul's account started spreading, and eventually his account was temporarily banned. Many viewers remarked that his account should have been permanently deleted. Fortunately, that's exactly what happened to this next TikToker. Bug Workout, aka Evgeny Bugav, got popular on TikTok by making gym and fitness videos, amassing over 8 million followers. But that was before Penguinz0 exposed the reality of his videos. On March 17th, 2021, Charlie uploaded a video titled Creepiest Guy on TikTok, which got over 11 million views. He exposed the account for posting videos which can only be described as simulated grape.
Literally about half of his TikTok videos are him in a situation where his goblin friends tie a girl's legs down or weigh them down, and then he comes in, takes off his shirt, and insinuates that he's gonna rip her.
Naturally, people started to question the message his videos were sending, with viewers commenting, "How is this working out? It's literally just SA/harassment. And whether skits or not, only children don't understand how effed up these are, and not in an edgy way." Evgeny's solution to this criticism: make the same videos with different endings. Charlie responded to his so-called solution with mockery.
So this is his new trend where it's almost rape, but then we learn a valuable lesson that it's bad to do those things.
And went on to expose him even further. Surprisingly, these videos weren't the worst of his content. Charlie revealed how Evgeny was taking pictures of women in public as a skit.
Sexual predation in public as well. Taking pictures of women's panties, the upskirts.
And the most concerning aspect of his content was the support he got in his comments.
The reason why this account actually terrifies me is because there are people in the comments that aren't calling out how disgusting it is. There are people saying like, "Oh yeah, can't wait to try this," or "Damn, what a prank," or "Holy shit, this is so hot." And the fact that those little kids and the impressionable weirdos on there are taking this as like something to celebrate is terrifying.
Penguinz0 also refers to Leon Lush's video about Bug Workout, where Leon comments,
"Caption here, you need to pay attention to people before losing them." Oh, she didn't pay attention to him and he's surrounded by little girls?
This is just another example of something that makes me feel like he's a fucking creepy psychopath. I don't even understand the message here. His girlfriend wasn't paying attention to him, so then he went to a bunch of little children to give him love and affection. Like, it's so odd.
The next TikTok Charlie exposes is even weirder, which hints at gang rape.
Bug workout and the boys just love a good old gangbang, a big old gang there, and instantly producing a baby. Pretty fucking wild skit.
And then ends the video stating how Evgeny is
the creepiest TikTok account I've seen so far,
saying
8.3 million people saw this channel, this fucking degenerate douchebag, and were like, yeah, this is okay and entertaining. Crazy.
Thanks to Charlie's video, more and more people realized just how awful Evgeny's content was. However, he shouted out Penguinz0 in his bio, thanking him for increasing his views, reading, "Hi friend Penguinz0, this is just a video with huge views, peace out to all." But it was clear not all of these views were positive. Bug Workout began getting called out on Reddit, and in December 2021, his account got deleted. And while he is still making content on his new account, he has nowhere near the same amount of traction he once had. This is in stark contrast to the TikTok account Certified Health Nut, which has found its own group of followers who believe in urine therapy, even though it has been proven to be false. The stuff I have to cover for you guys, damn. The TikTok account Certified Health Nut is run by former Versace model Troy Casey, who's retained his youthful look at the age of 55. His content revolves around giving health and nutritional advice to his viewers, but some of the advice he gives is far from healthy, and Penguinz0 exposed him for just that. On the 18th of June 2024, Charlie uploaded a video titled "TikTok Influencer Loves Drinking Pee."
Right now, there's a man on TikTok fighting the good fight to try and convince people that urine is basically the cure to every ailment on the planet.
Criticizing the video in which Troy advocates for urine therapy.
Now, this therapy is not right for everyone. It's very esoteric, and it takes a Jedi mind trick to get over your conditioning, your industrial age school system, your propaganda programming, etc.
This is urine therapy. I really love how therapy's lost all meaning and weight. You can kind of just slap that word on anything and people just believe in it off rip.
He argues that it's common sense not to drink urine.
It's literally like common sense. It's pretty much basic human instinct.
But Troy shows that common sense isn't so common when he drinks urine in a TikTok video, claiming that it's good for your gut microbiome.
The research that I've shown is it's good for parasites, it's good for your gut microbiome.
Charlie points out that while he mentions research supporting his claims, he fails to provide any citations for the research.
The research I've read, none of which I cite and none of which actually exists with any real merit to it, all says that drinking piss is 2 thumbs way up.
He also roasts him for using pee as lotion, saying,
"My heart breaks for any unfortunate souls that happen to just be walking down the sidewalk when this guy rides by on his bike. I can't even imagine the smell. That must be unfathomable. Like having your senses assaulted by 15 dump trucks all unleashing that Methodist right to your nose."
And logically exposes Troy's lie when he claims that urine smells like perfume when applied.
The only power that has is to leave stains in a gas station toilet seat. That's it. It's not doing anything for you.
As Troy uses multiple buzzwords to explain the benefits of drinking urine.
I know it's good for me. It's loaded with minerals, cell salts, amino acids, stem cells, antigens, antibodies.
Charlie does some research and finds that it's medically proven that urine therapy is extremely harmful.
I decided to look into it. There's like some research about some of the stuff that is in urine, but none of it recommends ever consuming it or using it on your body in any way, because at the end of the day, it's waste. It's literally just your body's waste.
And sure enough, UPMC research shows that, quote, drinking urine can force your kidneys to work even harder or expose you to unnecessary toxins. This could cause illness, electrolyte disturbances, or kidney damage. Besides drinking it, Troy also tells his viewers to apply urine to their scalp to prevent premature balding.
I know people that wash their hair with it. They have gotten rid of some premature balding.
Naturally, Charlie wastes no time in making fun of him.
How in the would urine on your scalp prevent premature balding? If anything, it would scare the follicles into submission even quicker. The follicles would kill themselves if they started getting drowned in piss. Like, that's such a ridiculous thing to say.
And while Troy's support for drinking urine seems outlandish, Charlie reveals that there is a huge online community that regularly practices urine therapy.
There is an entire community of urine therapy cultists that swear by it. Like, they love this. Like, they really think they're becoming superhumans, beating every possible medical ailment ever just through piss.
He also questioned why proponents of urine therapy also don't consume feces.
Why not poop? Why is it only reserved for urine? Why isn't he preaching the gospel about the hidden benefits of feces consumption?
Essentially, highlighting the absurdity of their beliefs and calling people out like Troy as cowards.
They're all cowards. When you drink piss, you're not usually gonna make yourself super sick from it, so it's a little safer. But when you eat shit, you can make yourself sick. So they're just afraid.
Needless to say, the comments on Charlie's video were just as lethal, with some viewers saying, "It's astonishing what kind of wild ideas you can come across these days. To every strange therapy out there, there's an audience ready to believe." Another viewer commented on Troy's TikTok saying, "If our bodies are designed to release it as a way to remove what we no longer need and possible toxins, why would you drink it?" Only to be met with more endorsements of urine therapy. But it seems like the worst backlash Troy has faced has been the negative comments. His content finds its place in a specific community, something Pinky Doll, a creator who relies on trends, can't relate to. Feda Sinon, better known as Pinky Doll, is a TikToker who got popular because of her live streams, amassing about 1.7 million followers. Her success is surprising, because the streams she got popular for require zero creativity, and Charlie exposes just how lazy and brain dead her content got. In his video titled "TikTok Streams Are Weird," he talks about Fedha used TikTok streams to maximize profit for minimal effort. He explains how her fame is a direct outcome of streams in which she pretended to be an NPC character.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, thank you, baby. This is so cute.
Oh, oh, yes, yes, yes. Bye, babies. See you after. Yellow. Yes, yes, yes. Take your in. Oh, thank you, Samantha. This is so cool. Take your cat in. Take your meals. Take your I'm ready. Gang, gang.
And because TikTok users are able to tip creators with emojis, she would perform short actions that related to the emojis for money. Charlie even seems impressed by the genius of Feda, using her audience's short attention span to her advantage.
She's smart. She knows that on TikTok, kids leave if there's even a split second of dead air. Silence is the #1 enemy on TikTok.
He draws attention to how young viewers on TikTok are used by creators such as Feda to spend their money in the form of tips.
On TikTok, it seems like people are constantly tipping. It seems like one of people's favorite pastimes on TikTok lives is giving away all of the money they have to their name. Like, these kids are like 12 years old and just give their whole allowance to TikTok creators in order for an actual split second of acknowledgement.
He also mentions how she averages 40,000 views with these live streams, with content he describes as
a combination, a perfect storm, a geostorm for everything that works on TikTok. Perpetual stimulation while, you know, being able to constantly spam the emotes and talking so there's never any silence, while also having that like XD random with the popcorn and hair iron, which is something that does very well on TikTok.
Charlie goes on to talk about the sad state of content consumption on TikTok.
Nothing but shame for seeing the state that entertainment for young people is in.
And the popularity of the NPC trend led him to make another video titled, "This trend has gone too far."
Yeah, it's only been a couple days since I talked about the NPC TikTok live streaming trend, and it is completely out of control now. It's spreading faster than the bubonic plague.
He credits Feda Sinon as the creator of this trend, and explains how she created an infinite money glitch with this trend.
She has blasted a new market wide open here, with weirdos that want to watch NPC streams forever.
And that's the truth, as a New York Times article mentions, she made between $2,000 and $3,000 per stream. Across all her social media accounts, which includes Instagram and OF, she puts that number at 7,000 per day. But as Charlie predicted,
this trend will probably fizzle out and die like a sad little wet fart within about another week or two at most.
The trend fizzled out, but it left a lasting impact on Pinky Doll's career. Within 2 days after Charlie's first video about Feda, the New York Times released an article titled "How Pinky Doll Mesmerized the Internet with Ice Cream So Good." However, when she tried to switch up her content from NPC streams to mukbangs, she faced a ton of backlash. Viewers claimed that she wasn't really eating the food, saying, "There's like 3,000 jump cuts, she's spitting it out." And while she still garners a lot of views on TikTok, her reputation and content quality are still viewed negatively. As one comment on a YouTube video noted, "She's living proof that social media is dehumanizing to society. Artificial intelligence isn't rapidly evolving past us, we're rapidly devolving past it." Pinky Doll's content demonstrates that viewers are willing to watch almost anything if it's stimulating enough. including creators who claim to solve murders with their psychic intuition. The TikToker Ashley the Psychic gained a dedicated audience by using her supposed psychic abilities to solve murders, but despite her clairvoyance, she couldn't predict what would happen when Penguinz0 decided to expose her lies. On the 7th of January 2023, Charlie uploaded a video titled "TikTok Detective Tries to Ruin Innocent Woman's Life," where the video breaks down how Ashley wrongly accused a woman of murder.
She basically just made a fan fiction about this completely innocent lady named Rebecca and framed her as the killer, and even convinced some brain-rotted individuals on TikTok that she was correct and Rebecca was the real killer.
Charlie explained how Ashley Gillard posted over 40 false statements accusing Rebecca Schofield of murdering 4 students at the University of Idaho. She made these accusations before the actual suspect, Brian Koberger, was found.
And she recently took on the case of the University of Idaho killer who killed 4 students. The real killer was arrested, however, before Brian Koberger was taken into custody, Ashley made a long series of videos accusing someone else named Rebecca Schofield of being the killer.
But even when Brian Koberger got arrested, Ashley continued to insist that the actual killer was Professor Rebecca Schofield. And the basis of these claims, her tarot card readings, of course.
And when, asked about evidence, and the evidence they presented was tarot card readings.
Following this, Charlie reacted to a Toesies video, which delved even deeper into the situation, and it turns out Rebecca filed a defamation lawsuit against Ashley.
And now Ashley, the psychic superstar, is being sued by Rebecca for all this shit, and rightfully so. She completely deserves to get slapped around in court for this kind of garbage.
I think that's how y'all want me to feel about a measly $75,000 lawsuit that I'm gonna win.
That's such a good filter. I thought it was real at first. That filter gets me every time. I love that fucking filter. Though, I mean, $75,000 lawsuit's not great. Like you don't have to pretend. I know that hurts. That hurts anyone. That's a lot of fucking money. I don't know why we're posturing here.
Charlie also reviews some of Ashley's TikToks, pointing out the unsettling number of videos she made about Rebecca. In her first TikTok about the murders, Ashley made it clear she doesn't know Rebecca personally. She insists that the accusation is based on her own knowledge, and not because she saw Rebecca's name on the university website.
I did not just see her picture and name on the University of Idaho history page and then automatically feel it was her. This is not a feeling, this is knowledge. I have no feeling.
Knowledge from where?
I did a reading when I saw Rebecca Schofield on the history department's page on Rebecca Schofield and her connection.
But Charlie quickly points out a hole in her argument, saying,
"Pardon me, detective, wasn't one of the first things you said, I didn't just see her on this university page and start accusing her. And then immediately your process is, so I saw her on the university page and I decided to do a reading."
In another TikTok, she claimed that Rebecca was romantically interested in Kaylee, one of the murdered students, and was even willing to leave her husband for her.
She had a deep desire for her. It feels like love.
I understand why this Rebecca Schofield person is suing her, because this is just insane.
True. And even after being sued and having her account deleted, she continued by posting from an alternative account, leading to Charlie's second video about Ashley titled, "This TikTok Detective is Horrible." He shows more videos of Ashley doubling down on her lies.
She was the one who ordered and who is responsible for the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students.
Even after Rebecca was proven innocent by law.
It is still 100% not Rebecca Schofield, as Ashley has claimed hundreds of times now. You would assume that a rational person, after being sued for defamation for accusing an innocent woman of being a murderer, you'd think that she'd then be like, yep, looks like I was wrong.
Finally, Ashley made a video announcing that she would no longer be addressing the lawsuit online.
Long story short, I'm not posting no more free information regarding this case online anymore.
In response, Charlie had this to say.
Even when she does decide to shut the fuck up, which I imagine she was advised to do by a lawyer, she still tries to spin it as like a victory for her, and we're all the bad guys for calling her out on how deplorable the whole thing is.
Not long after these videos, Ashley saw a sharp decline in her followers, not to mention that the lawsuit and its legal repercussions stained her reputation forever. That being said, Ashley did build her TikTok audience organically by creating content that captivated viewers. The same, however, can't be said for this TikTok dad, who became a celebrity almost by default. Monty J. Lopez is a TikTok creator who owes his stardom to the fame of his daughter, Addison Rae. In Addison's shadow, Monty was able to amass 5.5 million followers of his own. Unfortunately, Monty isn't the wholesome father viewers would hope he is, and Charlie made sure everyone knew who he really is. In a video titled "Worst Dad on TikTok," posted on the 17th of August 2022, Charlie exposes how Monty Lopez
is a fucking weirdo, and he has torn apart their family for the sake of his own clout chasing.
Can I get a
He also talks about how strange it is for Monty to show up at influencer parties without Addison.
He just gets this tingle and shows up to every TikTok party imaginable. He doesn't go with Addison Rae or anything. He goes solo. There's nothing wrong with TikTok stars' parents being involved in their life or even in their videos, but it gets to a point where it's uncomfortable when the dad is just going to all these parties by himself without the actual star of the family there.
To make matters worse, many women have reported Monty's creepy behavior. He's been accused of some pretty disturbing stuff.
He used his pseudo-celebrity status of being the parent of a famous person to allegedly flirt with 19 and 20-year-olds. He even was having a 5-month affair here with a girl that's less than half his age.
Charlie also shows videos of Monty being creepy with other women at parties, saying stuff like,
a ton of videos of him at these parties, like one where he's handing out roses to some of the girls there. There's a lot of footage that makes it just seem like Bigfoot sightings. They'll like circle in a red circle, like Monty Lopez in the background, like being weird with a TikToker.
But that's not all. Charlie also highlights Monty's tendency to pick fights with young women, such as his beef with social media influencer Tana Mojo.
So he posted a TikTok saying, do you think Tana Mojo's more than 300 dudes or less than 300 dudes? To which Tana responds by showing a ton of receipts about him trying to like hook up with her or like trying to connect with her, as well as telling stories about how unbelievably weird he is to all the other TikTok stars.
In a TikTok, Tana calls out Monty by saying,
and I mean, first of all, why a grown man, a father, is even remotely discussing my body count is beyond me. But y'all have obviously seen the paparazzi videos of him stalking me down for a selfie. And I'm getting tired of the incessant FaceTimes and texts like these. And I think all of my young friends are very tired of him acting like this. So Monty, if you want war, so be it.
And if that wasn't enough, Monty adds to Addison's embarrassment by starting a one-sided feud with Young Gravy, who is currently dating Addison Rae's mother, Sherry Easterling. Monty posted a story with the caption, "Thank you Young Gravy for taking leftovers." This led Charlie to drop another video about Monty on the 28th of September 2022, where during the video, he talks about Monty's diss track aimed at Young Gravy.
Hey look, Gravy, this is for you, bro. Fuck you and fuck them hoes. I'm a villain in the villa. I stole your bitches.
While reacting to the video, Charlie comments on how lonely Monty seems, pointing out that he had to pay women to appear in the diss track video.
I also think it's a giant self-report on loneliness here when for your diss track, you hire women to be around you and pretend like they're somewhat having fun near you.
And in response to a lyric in the video, he had to remind Monty that he's only famous because of his daughter.
In the studio with your girl, she's a fan, while you're stuck at home with your dick in your hand. Monty, what is she a fan of? You don't do anything. Legitimately, the only thing you've ever done is give birth to a TikTok superstar.
Charlie also calls out Monty for using cheap tactics to stop people from trolling him online.
He takes the absolute most revolting approaches to it by copyright claiming videos that use some of his clips.
But by this moment, the damage was done, and Monty had to deal with the fallout from being exposed. And as with most of Charlie's callouts, the impact was immediate and intense. The two videos about Monty quickly racked up over 10 million views combined, which sent a lot of negative attention his way. People were now more aware of his creepy behavior. Then things got worse when Ash, a 25-year-old woman, shared screenshots showing Monty making false promises about starting a family with her, all while still married to Sherry Easterling. Even though Monty still has a massive following, he can't shake off that creepy TikTok reputation. Now, he's blacklisted by other influencers, making it nearly impossible for him to collaborate and to rebuild his image. It's clear that some TikTokers won't be stopping their horrible actions anytime soon. This makes it all the more important to have creators like Penguinz0, who regularly expose and discuss the vile influences on social media. His scathing commentaries make the internet a much safer place. As one comment on his video said best, "I'm a 42-year-old dad of 2 kids. I watch Charlie so I can be educated in what freak shows are out there, so I can help protect my kids online.